Welcome into episode 77 of JD's Empire Sports Talk, of course, with Biggie once again, as we usually are every single Tuesday night. We got a lot going on this week. Biggie, I'll check in with you first. How are you? How are you feeling?
Pretty good.
We're in November now, so we only got 2 more months of the year, and then that's
I know. Crazy. Yeah.
It really is crazy how how quick the year is going by. And now we're gonna add some new sports to the show because college basketball is back. I can't wait to talk about that. I was like, I looked at my phone on Monday, yesterday, and I was like, whoa, college basketball is back already? I don't think anybody even gave it a thought just because of what's going on. We got that. Of course, we got, MLB, NFL was, bigger than usual today with the trade deadline, and I'm a little upset, but we'll get into that in a few minutes. We got NHL talk that some guys that are younger than me and you, Biggie, that are playing out of their minds right now, which is crazy.
I was going to say these guys are younger than us two. I mean, wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's really crazy, especially someone, and it plays for a New York team I don't like, but they, I can still give him recognition. He's pretty damn good. NBA talk, of course, later, and then we'll finish it out with college football just because the first CFP rankings is coming out. So pretty much, if anyone isn't familiar with how the ranking system goes, there's an AP poll that usually it goes throughout the whole season, but no one really listens or looks at that when the CFP poll comes out. That's really what everyone puts their eyes on, because by the end of the season, it doesn't matter what you are in the AP poll, it matters what you are in the CFP.
Right.
So we'll keep an eye on that, because I would expect some different team, maybe a team's ranked number 9 in the AP poll. That doesn't mean they're going to be that in the CFP. So we got to keep an eye on that. And those rankings come out a little after 8 o'clock. So we'll leave that towards the end of the show. So we definitely have, enough time to dissect and go through, potential matchups, what teams we think will stay in certain spots, because I can tell you this. And one thing I don't want to forget to say, that's why I want to say it now, but we'll talk about it later. Ohio State and Indiana, they're more than likely not going to finish in the top 2 because they're going to play each other at some point.
Yep, right.
So that's not going to happen. So, yeah, they may be that tonight, but later in the year, that's not going to happen just because a head-to-head matchup, someone has to lose. So we'll keep an eye on that later on. But let's start with the NFL. So usually when the trade deadline happens in the NFL, it's not really, a big-time thing anymore. It's more so of a few little or lesser trades that teams try to, shore up depth pieces and stuff like that. But this year was definitely not the case. Teams went, they went for it. And let's start with my Jets, man. So they traded Sauce Gardner to the Colts for 2 first-round picks and A.D. Mitchell. So we can break this one down first. We can kind of go through each one, and then we'll get to, by the end of it. But there was a lot of trades. So we'll take care of the more notable ones. But let's start with this one. So I can kick us off giving, my personal feelings on this, just because, of course, everyone knows I'm a Jets fan. And I always had a special place in my heart for the 2022 draft class, because I felt like that was the draft class that deserved to win. They wanted to be here, and they could have been a part of the turnaround. Well, now the main guy, or the first, well, I wouldn't say the main guy, but he was one of the main guys, of course. The fourth pick of that draft, Sauce, is now gone. he goes to the Colts. So to me, I look at it as, okay, you whatever, you want to get more draft picks for the future years, but it's a revolving cycle. I mean, they did this 4 years ago. They had 5 first-round picks combined with 2021 and 2022, and look where it got them. And I feel like, yeah, go ahead, Biggie. Go ahead.
And you know what? You say that revolving door, and I think that falls on your owner, to be honest.
I agree with you. You know how I feel about him.
You look at this situation, you're like, you have 3 first-round picks next year. Yeah, you give up Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams, who are 2 of your better defensive players. Now, your defense isn't great to begin with. So maybe you look at it in that aspect, like, okay, well, they weren't really contributing as much as they should have been or as much as we thought they were because of the namesake type thing, right? You know what I'm saying?
I get that, yeah.
But I could see your point where this happened years before, and, you're just going to expect the same result. Oh, we have 3 first-round picks, but that's not going to matter because we're not going to do anything with any of them. So no matter who they take, it's not going to work out for them either way. That's your mindset, but I think it honestly looks good to have 3 first-round picks. Obviously you lose those guys who I know very near and dear to your heart, obviously, but the defense hasn't been good at all. So it would be different if your defense was better, but it's not. So I can understand, like emotionally as a fan, losing Sauce Gardner, especially Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams, but the defense just wasn't good. You know what I mean? So maybe they need a shakeup, and maybe this time the draft picks will actually end up being something.
Yeah, I totally get where you're coming from. I'm kind of hearing that from a lot of people. But to me, it's like, and also another way or another scenario that's coming about is you have 5 first-round picks in the next 2 years. That is some more. So you got to get yourself a quarterback because you're not winning. We saw they had a good defense up until last year at a certain point, but the 3 years, 2.5 years before that, the defense was pretty good, and that's why they went out there and got an Aaron Rodgers because like, okay, we're a quarterback away. So I felt, to me, I'm like, okay, we're still a quarterback away. I know, there's some positions on the team that are, not good, but they have pieces there that they just need to add depth behind those guys. And I feel like Sauce and Quinnen, those are guys that you're building around those type of players to me. Quinnen Williams is he's a nose tackle pretty much. I mean, a guy that's a game wrecker. You did get a lot back from him. I didn't think I can't complain about what they got, but it's also, we know how this goes. I may sound like a typical Jets fan. We know how it goes, this and that, but you know how it's going to go. They're going to use these picks. Either they're not going to pan out from the beginning, or they're going to have these guys like a Quinnen Williams, and they're going to, later on we'll trade them. We'll start it all over again. As I said, it's just like
a revolving door.
That's what it is. And I feel like the Quinnen Williams one, honestly, by the offseason, I thought this was going to happen. And I'm a little, of course, I'm upset that he's gone, but I'm not really shocked by it. I'm really not, because I felt like it would have happened in the offseason. He's been here for 7 years. Haven't had a winning season with him. I'm sure he was more than frustrated before this trade. I can tell. I mean, we no one wants to lose the way they have. I totally get that. And I thought by the offseason, I thought that he would have been gone anyway. So I can understand, all right, you know what? I'm not shocked by this one. But the Sauce one, no, I did not believe that was going to happen at all.
Yeah, I was a little shocked by that too, honestly.
Right? I mean, I've never seen a team that, they draft a guy, they keep him for his rookie contract, extend him in his rookie contract, and then trade him 3 months later. That doesn't happen. That really does not happen a lot. I don't even know. I can't even think of a scenario that the way this happened like this. I really don't have any, on the top of my head. And I was just like caught off guard by it. I have a jersey on just in support of them. I hope they both ball out though, because they were really, they were fan favorites. There were always guys like, I know I went to, training camps and stuff like that. I have a picture with Quinnen Williams. He was a really cool guy. Like they really, they were good. They weren't just good players. They were good guys. And I think that they're going to take that Quinnen to Dallas, Sauce to, the Colts, more so for the Colts. I mean, they're in the middle of a playoff race and he's going to help them, I think, tremendously. And Quinnen, I mean, he's going there for a defense that sucks right now. So hopefully he can turn that around. But we'll see what happens. And the other side of this, I was going to talk about it in the how you doing part, but I'll just do it now. It's like, if you're Woody Johnson, so what you've seen through 8 games in terms of Aaron Glenn coaching and Darren Muji as a front office, GM guy, I don't know if I can put my trust in them like this early. Like, I don't really think I can do that. And now the next 2 years, you got 2 first-round picks in 2026 and 3 first-round picks in 2027. Like, I don't know how you can put all that trust in these 2 guys this quickly. I don't get it, but we'll see what happens. As a Jet fan, of course, I'm going to root for it. Like, obviously, we have to do good. Like, we have to eventually get out of the hole and actually do something. But it starts with getting the quarterback. It really. Will it happen? That's the question. Right now, obviously, as a Jets fan, I have no confidence in anything happening. But I get it. Like, I get what they're coming from. We're trying to, bring our own mold of a team together. But it's also like you have two guys on defense that you can build around those guys and make everyone else better. That's how I take it. And they weren't the problem on this team. I'm going to put it that way. They were not the problem on this team. You haven't had a quarterback. I mean, you haven't had a quarterback in years, but especially with this group of core players that you've had since 2022, you haven't had a quarterback for them that can actually do something. And we'll see. We'll see what happens. But those 5 first-round picks, man, and they do have second-round picks as well. They better hit on all of them because or else this is going to look, pretty stupid down the road. Yeah, it's going to look pretty dumb down the road, and you really don't want to see that happen because they've already done, some poor things. But next thing we got here was Saints receiver, well, no more, but Rashid Shaheed has been traded to the Seattle Seahawks because, listen, the Seahawks, they have a really good team. Seemed like they were lacking one more weapon that can put them over the top. And I didn't think they probably didn't think they were going to be this good this year just because new quarterback, coach is a little still inexperienced. But Biggie, how much? So you got Cooper Kupp, who's that, the veteran savvy guy. You got Smith and Jigma, and now you have Shaheed, who is probably one of the fastest receivers in the league, to already do an offense that can score with the best of them. I'm going to ask you this now, and we'll get into it a little bit later. But does a trade like this put Seattle even another peg up, perhaps on the same level as the Eagles?
Yeah, it could. It could. Here's the thing. Like you said, you just mentioned a bunch of guys that Seattle has, they've been really good this year. They've been impressive, to say the least. So maybe adding a little more depth to the team could help. And I think it will help.
He's pretty good.
I think so. I think it will help. I don't think as much as, maybe you just hyped it up to be, but it will add a little bit more firepower. But it should help a little bit, I think. The Saints, I mean, they're going to be like, one of those teams that, they're going to have to get some guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the Saints and the Jets are competing for that first pick.
Like they're probably it's the battle of the first overall pick between
Toilet Bowl. That's in December sometime. They play each other. I can't wait for that game.
Oh, that game's going to be.
I'm not going to
Cartoon Network at 9 a.m. Can't wait.
Oh man.
But yeah, the Saints are one of those teams that they may have to clear house a little bit to make room for some stars because they need it bad. You know what I mean? So this might have been a good move on them, and it helps Seattle out too. So.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it now. Oh, they only got a 4th and a 5th round pick, but those picks can, potentially help.
Yeah, you do right. That's what they need. They need that right now. They're in the state where they need that.
Yeah, and they're not going anywhere. Like, you know what I'm saying? They're not going anywhere, so there's no reason to, hold guys back and be like, we don't want to trade this guy. You gotta let go a little bit. And then for another team that traded a wide receiver, wasn't a team I was expecting at all, but he was traded. Jacoby Myers has been traded to the Jacksonville Jaguars for a 4th and 6th round pick. So the Jaguars beef up that already pretty talented wide receiver room. But for the Raiders, it kind of seemed like from the beginning of the season they weren't going to really be that great. But Jacoby Myers, he requested a trade 2 months ago. Now he's gone. So Raiders are in a little bit of a tough skid lately, and also they need to do some work with the roster. And then for Jacksonville, look, they're in the playoffs right now, and it seems like they're pretty serious about, going for it, like trying to do something. So that good for them. I like that move for Jacksonville. I just didn't think Jacoby Myers, that would be the team. I didn't think that would be the team he would go to. Let me put it that way.
Yeah. I think so too. But I again, that's another team that, maybe add a little more depth to the receiver room. And, he's a good receiver, Jacoby Myers. So, and he's going to be on a team now that's competitive. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Listen, I've always said this. I've always noticed this. There may be a guy on a team that stinks. They get traded to a playoff team, and they're already good players, but it elevates them. It just gets them to get, unlocked a little more. They'd be like, man, like I'm sure Sauce right now, he's probably bummed. Yeah, team got drafted by, team got an extension by, but then he goes to like a playoff team, a legit, probably a team that has a really good chance at going far if everything breaks right for them. And he's probably just got a little, a boost under him. You're like, damn, all right, let's go. Let's do it. And I'm sure that's something which Jacoby Myers went through. Now I have a quarterback that can actually hit me instead of throwing the ball to the other team like Geno Smith likes to do. And you got Trevor Lawrence who, he can hit you and get you some good numbers. And I'm sure Jacoby Myers is going to do good for Jacksonville this year. And maybe if he's still, I don't know, if he sticks around or whatever the case may be. And then the Cowboys did make a little, I wouldn't say little, but a nice other move they had earlier today was Logan Wilson. So this is a guy that played for the Bengals, and then this year was just a hot mess with those guys. They got rid of him, or he wanted to leave. He got benched, and this is a guy that has been pretty good for Cincinnati. And Dallas needed Biggie. Dallas's defense, I think we could have played better together. And like, I never played football in my life, and I think I would have been okay.
I'm not saying Logan Wilson's bad, but like
it's not going to move the needle, but better than what they have.
Do anything really? I don't think this is an impactful trade at all.
Yeah, right? I mean, I guess in the sense of I'm trying to come from what Dallas was thinking. Yeah, I believe that
I don't think like I would go for something bigger. You have you do. I think they do have the money for it. They have the the trade capital for it. You know what I mean? I feel like they'd be able to get a little more with that. I don't know. If I'm a Cowboys fan, I'm a little disappointed in this. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna say Logan Wilson's bad, but I just don't think for how bad your defense is. I would want something a little bit more than that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I just
don't think there's enough value in them, right? At least for the Cowboys situation. You know what I mean? Because they need a stud on defense because they don't have really any at all. They're terrible.
No, they've. I mean,
last night.
Yeah, last night Jacoby Brissett was dicing them up left and right, which shows. But at least they're coming from. I was coming from like a Dallas perspective. Like, you know what, we got to do something. You got to at least show that we can do something. And yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. But I mean, this is a guy that really didn't play at all this year just because of his disciplinarian issues. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Why did Dallas Cowboys love taking guys that have disciplinary issues, right?
Yeah, they do. They love it. George Pickens, the long list of guys. Exactly. I don't get it. I really don't get it. And then the last bit of, bigger news, because there was other trades, but these are the, more notable trades because of teams and stuff like that. Jalen Phillips has been traded to the Eagles. Biggie, I think you're going to be a huge fan of this one. This is a guy that, he got injured 2 years ago. He hasn't been the same, but his best production in the NFL was with Vic Fangio. So I think that's going to be a great meshing point. He's not going to be any, growing pains. He's going to be able to play there on Sunday and he'll be fine.
Right. And I think we do need a little boost on defense. Not specifically on the defensive line, because I actually think that's our strongest suit on defense.
Which is
our secondary is the issue. Our secondary is the issue.
They did try to. I was going to say we could get to that too if you want, or if you want to hold off till later.
What about
the secondary? Yeah, Jair Alexander.
Yeah, I think that's a good trade. I want to talk about that too. I really like that.
Yeah.
We needed a boost in the secondary big time. That was the big.
They were struggling.
That's their biggest issue on defense, 100%, and I feel like he's a good addition. But yeah, no, Jalen Phillips, I really like it. I think it's going to be another boost. Like I said, I think our defensive line is probably our strongest suit on defense. Mm-hmm. But again, a nice addition and a guy that's worked with Vic Fangio before. So that's big. I was really happy with it. I like it.
Yeah, and I know with the Eagles, and for the past few years, not really this year, they've had so many options at the defensive line spot where they can roll in 4 guys, take 4 guys out, and it wouldn't really make a difference. And I feel that's what they're trying to get back to because it seems like they're lacking depth.
It is their strongest suit, but you're right. They don't have the depth that they did 2 years ago. Even last year, if you compare the D-line depth from like 2022 compared to the year we actually won the Super Bowl, it was deeper when we, lost to Kansas City and when we lost in the first round. I mean, you know what I mean? Like we had a deeper D-line depth before we won the Super Bowl, which is crazy. But I think personally we did. I think we had a way stronger defensive line before we won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and I think Jalen Phillips can. I don't know if he's going to do the same, but I think he can be the type of player that's like a Josh Sweat, who they definitely missed. Like the speed element, and that's why I was like,
you remember a guy named Hassan Reddick?
Yeah, him too. Yeah. The guy that stole from the
not great anymore, but his prime was with the Eagles. He was good on the Eagles.
Yeah, he was a stud there. That seemed like the one that Jalen Phillips can come in there and he can provide that for them. So I'm excited for that. I want to see how he does with Philly, and especially that he doesn't have to learn anything. He can just be thrown in there because it's the same, system and stuff like that. Let's move to some other NFL news we got. So now we're going to, talk about the injuries, which is unfortunate, but we have to. Jaden Daniels dislocated his elbow Sunday night. He's expected to miss a significant amount of time. And the Biggie, the question I have for you is, so right now, Jaden Daniels has been banged up all year, but the injury the other night was, did not look good. His arm pretty much was bent the other way. If you want to be graphic, but it was very, very ugly. And this is a team that's at 3-6. They had a great year last year all the way to the NFC Championship. Now hasn't had the same success. So right now they're at 3-6. They got the Eagles twice. They have the Lions and the Broncos. So that's 4. Half their games are against 3 teams that are pretty damn good, and they already have 6 losses. Do you think it's even worth it of even bringing this guy back into this season at this point? Like, I don't even think it is. It just hasn't been his year, and you don't want to bring him back for him to get hurt again.
Yeah, no. Commanders fell off big time from last year, and obviously, Jane Daniels dealing with some injuries, and now this one. Yeah, I think it's best if you don't. You know what I mean? I just think you kind of have to roll with the punches now because they have a tough stretch going forward, and
Tough, man.
the NFC East right now is pretty much Philly's division because Cowboys are down, Commanders are now down, and the Giants are 2-7, whatever, right?
Yeah.
So like, it's not. It's the Eagles division. They're winning that. They're ahead by so much right now that it's like, is it even worth it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you don't want to, compromise a whole franchise to bring a guy selfishly back for what, 3 or 4 games that don't mean anything.
Right,
It's
exactly.
not even worth it. It's really not. It's really not worth it. Tucker Kraft, another guy that was injured, so he's out for the year with an ACL tear. I mean, he's one of those guys that I don't think people really notice him that much. Like, I don't know why they don't, but I don't think people notice him and how much he means to the Packers. He went down the other day, and they could not score. They really struggled to score, and Kraft is now out. That's probably Jordan Love's top or favorite target besides, his receivers. But Kraft is pretty much the guy. Then the receivers fall in line after that. Like, he loves Kraft that much. Now Kraft not being there, that's going to hurt Green Bay a little bit.
Yeah, that's definitely hurting them because they already had some flaws after their really hot start to the season. They've had some flaws. And now you take away, arguably a top 5 tight end in the league this year.
Yeah, he's been great.
He's been fantastic, Tucker Kraft. I mean, he's been playing awesome. So you take him out of the equation, that's probably going to hurt him a little bit. I think they're still going to be pretty good. But, again, you saw some of those flaws after this hot start. So I think now those flaws are going to be even more on display after you lose Jordan Love loses one of his top targets.
Yeah, and you could tell like when Green Bay they need that one because their receivers, none of them are guys that you're like, oh, I'm scared of.
Right? Yeah, they don't have that. They're not.
There's not. There's really not. They're good. Right. They're good receivers, but no one that scares you. Tucker Kraft scares you when he's out there because of what he can do. Like he's huge and he runs like a freaking. He's a specimen out there, and now they don't have him until next year. And I mean, it hurts my fantasy team too, which is unfortunate. I don't want to sound selfish, but it does hurt my fantasy team as well. And then a few other injuries we got here, which we hate talking about, but we do it. We have to talk about it. Yeah. CJ Stroud in concussion protocol after taking a nasty hit against the Broncos Sunday afternoon, and now his status is in doubt for this week as well. So Houston's kind of in the same boat as the Commanders, not having a good year when they kind of should be.
Right.
And CJ Stroud
not living up to expectations.
They're not. Yeah. And CJ Stroud, I don't know if we even want to put him in this week as well, just based off of what he's been going through. They thought they fixed the offensive line. They just didn't. I mean, I know the other day was not the offensive line's fault, but he's been running and scrambling because he has no time, and he had to do the same thing again.
Again, that's another situation. Like it's just not it's not the year that you thought you'd have. So why risk getting him hurt when maybe a year or two from now you pick up some more pieces and you're better, but you don't have your quarterback because you let him play in some meaningless games when you were going to miss it when you were finishing the year 8-9 or 7-10 whatever, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and usually we look at the AFC South and we're like, oh, it's a team, you can win 8 or 9 games. The Colts have 7 wins already, so they don't even have that chance of even trying to come back at this point. Right, I think the Texans are already they're basically out 4 games almost already, it's ridiculous. But we'll see. We'll see what Stroud can do. See if even Stroud can get back, quickly and hopefully even get them in the wild card conversation. And staying in the AFC South, Travis Hunter has been put on the IR. This was last week, but we didn't get to talk about it because it was later in the week. So he's got a knee injury. And Biggie, you think it's time for the Jaguars to just sit him down and be like, you know what, you're going to focus on one position because you're going to something's going to go wrong for you.
Well. I'll just say that. I think we actually said it on this show.
We did a long time ago.
Yeah, back over the summer or right when we first started doing this, because we started doing this in May. The draft was in April. We said that there's going to be a point in the year where Travis Hunter is not playing both ways. And I think we said halfway through the season.
I think we're right. I think
that if they're smarter, if Liam Cohen is smart, he will do that because, I mean, it's just the way the game is now. You can't I can't obviously speak. I never, I'm not an NFL player, but I just have a feel knowing from playing sports, playing both sides of the ball at the highest level of your sport, especially a sport like football. And even, you play corner and receiver. As a corner, you're still taking a lot of hits. And a receiver, you're taking not as many hits, but you're still, putting strain in your body regardless, playing the sport. Believe me, I
Of
know
course, yeah. It just
that.
just getting out there and playing doesn't matter what's going
Yes,
on. It's going to make
right.
you, tired, or your body's going to break down a little
Right.
bit.
And, obviously guys did it in the past, but I just don't think the game is at that point anymore where that's possible. You know
Yeah,
what
I
I
feel
mean?
like everything is so much quicker.
Yeah,
Where
right.
it's hard. It's
Quicker,
hard, man.
guys are
Recovery
bigger,
takes
more
longer.
athletic. Like, it's
Yeah.
just not the game is not at a point anymore where you can do that. Doesn't matter how talented you are. You are going to struggle with injuries. You're going to, have a lot of fatigue. And clearly now you're on the IR. So I think we're going to see Travis Hunter go one way now.
Yeah, I that's why I wanted to bring it up to you. I mean, we did talk about that a few months ago. I kind of forgot about that part, but yeah, it's not sustainable, and especially now that he's a knee injury, those are scary. Those
Yeah, you
are
don't want
very,
a
very
mental
scary.
knee injury.
No, you don't. What if right now he's okay, like he's gonna rest, but what if he comes back, plays both ways again, and then totally blows out the knee, and then you're screwed. Like, this is
Yeah.
your first round pick. I think he needs some. I think if I'm the Jaguars, you have enough at wide receiver. You know what, Travis, go play corner. You're going to be great at corner. Let's stick with that. There's no reason to mess around and do both. It's just too much on the body. It's just too much. And it's going to, at some point, this was a scare, but it didn't get him. But it could be eventually, down the road. Let's recap all the Week 9 games here. So let's go back to last Thursday, where we had the Ravens and Lamar Jackson making his return from injury. They won that game 28-6. Seems like we talked about this, Biggie, a few weeks ago. If the Ravens can beat the Bears and the Dolphins, which they just did, their season can get back on track, and it looks like they can, get it going a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think that they've kind of silenced all the things they had to silence. And I also think that their defense after the bye, it seems like they've switched some things around. And I think the Ravens should have they can be okay. They need to go on a run, but they can do it. I think they can.
I think now that they have, obviously Lamar Jackson back
and healthy. He looked good.
He looked good too. I mean, the Dolphins aren't great, but still, he looked good. Yeah, I definitely think he can go on a run now. Absolutely.
And if the biggest thing was why is this defense so terrible? They've been better. They've been a lot better. Even the game before the bye, they held the Rams to, I think 17 points.
Right.
And that's a Rams team that can score 35 every game.
At first, the defense was the big problem.
Improved,
but it improved. But the problem was up until you had Lamar Jackson not in. That was your problem. So you had one problem, you fixed it, but then you have another big problem where your quarterback, who is arguably one of the best of our generation, is out. You know what I mean? So you have him back, and you fix the defensive problem, and there you go. Both problems fixed, and I think they can do it.
Of course. And then a team that does have a problem, I think it's more than a problem at this point. The Bengals. So they lost 47-42 against the Bears Sunday afternoon. Joe Flacco threw for 470 yards. I think it was like 4 touchdowns. Still not good enough. Bears needed that win. They get to 5-3. They're right in the mix for the division right now. But Cincinnati is 3-6, and they should probably have like 7 wins right now. They can score with anybody. I've never seen a defense that sucks this much in my life.
Yeah, that's the problem. And usually it's the opposite. Usually the Bengals offense is what is bad, and the defense usually holds up for somewhat. Now it looks like
at least when Burrow's not there, the offense
unfortunately we've seen that so much since he got into the league. But now we're seeing the issue where the offense is playing great. I mean, Joe Flacco, wow. He surprises me every time I watch him play football. He's 40 years old. And
I don't know how he's still doing it.
It's awesome. Some guys can do it, some can't. You know what I mean? But that now the problem is the defense. Like, the defense is terrible, and usually that's one of their stronger suits. Usually when Burrow's been out, the defense has been able to hold up even if they don't win. The defense holds up, and they've been able to squeak out a few wins. Now your defense sucks. Like, what is going on? It's like they're cursed because the one thing gets better, but then the thing that made the thing that was the better thing got worse. They flipped. Like, literally, if you look at situations from years prior when Burrow's been hurt, it's flipped.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're totally right. And I think that's more in part of, when you have to pay a Jamar Chase, you have to pay a T. Higgins, you have to pay a Joe Burrow. You're gonna have to sacrifice a little bit on the other side of the ball, and it's unfortunate for them. But yeah, I think that the Bengals are going to be in the market for a new coach next year too. I don't think Zach Taylor is going to be able to, Yeah.
Shout out to Flacco.
Oh yeah, Joe Flacco, man, that big Udell guy. He was a really good baseball player too. I don't know if
Yeah.
anybody knows that. He was like a really really good draft prospect baseball player, and he loved football more, and he worked at it. I mean, look where he's at now. So I think he's made the right decision. So then the next game we had here, yeah, how about the Jets, JBC? I already talked about them. The Vikings beat the Lions 27-24. This was probably one of the bigger upsets of the week. JJ McCarthy comes back from injury.
Yeah.
Looks good. He actually looked good. I mean, yeah, he had
I
his
knew it.
moments where he's like, "Oh my god, where was that ball going?" But he won the game. He had 3
It's
total
there,
touchdowns.
man.
He did just enough.
I honestly had some doubts, obviously, because he's never played a snap in the NFL. But
Beating Detroit on the
I don't
road,
know. I
big
think
time.
he's pretty good. I think he's good. Just give him some time. Give him some time to develop. He's going to be pretty good.
He needs to develop a little more, which will come with reps. That's the only way you can get better. We talked about this, Biggie.
And
You could be afraid. You could be afraid. We talked about this, I think, when we were talking about the Giants. We were like, you can't be afraid to put Jackson Dart in. The only way he's going to develop is by playing. That's just how it works. Like, yeah, you can learn, but if you're not doing it, if you're not physically doing it, it's not going to do anything for you in terms of, developing. And that's the same thing with JJ McCarthy. Yeah, I know he was injured. So it's, that's tough. You can't do anything about that. But listen, if he gets his reps, they're going to be fine. This year may not be the year for them, but he's shown flashes so far. And if you're beating Detroit on the road, over the past few years, we've seen how difficult it is to beat the Lions at home. Like the Lions are one of the best, home teams in the league for the past since Dan Campbell's really got there. Besides the beginning of it, but they've been really good at home, and the Vikings go in there and get a big win, and that kind of resets the division a little bit, which we'll get into when we talk about the standings. But that division is much more closer, I think, than people thought it out to be a few weeks ago. So we'll see what happens.
Up to be pretty good.
Really, really good. Panthers, another surprising game. They beat the Packers 16-13. I want to talk about the Panthers in a little bit. I just want to put this more so on the Packers. Yeah, I know you lost Tucker Kraft, but if you want to be taken seriously, we say this every single week, win the damn game. Go win the game against the Panthers. You're home. You're like a 14-point favorite. What are we doing? What are we doing, Green Bay?
Yes, you lose Tucker Kraft, but that is no freaking excuse to
lose
Carolina
the game.
Panthers. Like, what? How? We even said it. Tucker Kraft, yeah, he's a big part, but they still should be fine. Like, what was that? I just spit everywhere. Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
You're getting pissed off. You're not even a Packers fan.
Like that's what you should win.
Exactly. We know how good this Packers team can be. They've shown it. It's just they're not consistently, they're not consistent enough, and they got to figure it out. When they play good teams, they beat them, and then when they play bad teams, they either struggle to beat them or they tie like they did with the Cowboys, or they lose to the Panthers, which I don't get it.
And like how they lost to the Browns too.
Yeah, I don't get it. And that's right. They did lose to the Browns. I think that game was like 13-10. So the offense needs to be more consistent. The next game we had, Chargers beating the Titans 27-20. Herbert looked good again. I just think that the game was a little too close in the first half, but the Chargers figured it out. The big thing about that, I forgot to mention before, Joe Alt got hurt once again. So he's going to be out for a little bit. And Biggie, of course, you're an offensive lineman. You get it. You watch football. Joe Alt is probably one of the most impactful offensive linemen in the entire league.
Oh yeah, and it's crazy for me to say this, but excuse me, not many teams have an impactful lineman. Like
you're right.
You have Quentin Nelson on the Colts. We know that. Joe Alt on the Chargers. We know that. Lane Johnson on the Eagles. We know that. Like, not many teams have that. If you're a team and you have an impactful O-lineman, so like literally, I mean just one guy that changes the whole dynamic of how you play up front, a guy that just leads the team up front, and a guy that can do damage in the trenches, and like not all teams have them. Some do. I just named 3 right there. But Joe Alt is one of those guys that if he's not out there, Justin Herbert's struggling. You know what I mean? And then like I bring up Lane Johnson. Look at the time he was out. Jalen Hurts scrambling for his life, not really able to do much. Lane Johnson goes back in. It's a whole different ballgame.
It is.
Nelson's the same way, man. Like he had some injuries in the couple of years. You know what I mean? Look at how the Colts were. You know what I mean? So yeah, if you have an impactful O lineman, it can even be one guy. You know what I mean? That's just that's a big blow for the Chargers.
Yeah, and we saw in the beginning of the year they looked great with him. He goes down, they struggle, and then even the other day they beat the Titans. But that's a game that they should have won. But we'll see what happens now in the future in the next coming weeks. Patriots, escaped this one 24-23. Drake May once again rolls along against the best defense of the league as another really good game. Yeah, the Patriots, they struggled to close that one out, but they won. It doesn't matter. They're on a heater right now.
Another case of the Falcons' inconsistencies. You're 3-5, and your wins are quality, and you almost go beat the red hot New England Patriots, and you lose by 1. You know what I mean? Like this game. So I'll tell you this. This game 2 weeks ago, Patriots would have won 35-6.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, you're right. I don't understand why.
Crazy.
I don't get it why the Falcons are so inconsistent, and I don't know. I'm not going. I don't like attacking coaches unless it's one of my team who I despise. But Raheem Morris is a guy that I don't think he's the guy to get that team to the full potential. I think you can go and get someone better to do that because that offense is you have weapons all over the place, and you don't get them all the ball in the same game. It's like, oh, Drake London has a great game. Robinson has a good game. Drake London doesn't. You have to get them all going at once.
One guy is having one good game at a time.
Yeah, you're never going to win like that.
When you have the talent that you have, you should be able to, like, as a coach, you should be able to, have your team play together and not just have like 1 or 2 studs and maybe they go off one night and when they don't, you're down. You know what I mean? If you have that good amount of guys, like, obviously some teams, they have one guy that's like that, and they rely on him. But the Falcons, they have more than that.
Multiple.
John Robinson, freaking Drake London, even Michael Penix looked good. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, he's looked good too. And then, like, that's just the thing. Like, all 3 of those guys should be having good games. Not the 1 week Bijan has, 200 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns.
And Drake London has 20 yards. And then the next week they flip. 20 yards
and then flip, right. Or Michael Penix throws 3 picks and 1 touchdown. Then the next week he throws for over 300 yards. Like, what I'm saying? You can't have
right. That. Yeah. I don't get it. They're very, very frustrated. If I was a Falcons fan, I would be frustrated because you have the pieces there. 49ers beat the Giants 34-24. Someone get Jackson Dart a defense because he's a stud and he needs help.
He's good.
49ers, they keep chugging along with these injuries. Mac Jones has been starting much longer than I think people thought.
And he's playing pretty well, more than
people thought. I think we can talk about this. Mac Jones is a product of Kyle Shanahan just knowing how to make a quarterback feel comfortable. It does not matter who it is. He always gets it doesn't matter. He always gets a QB in there. If you can be a guy that's in rhythm and he can play, we've seen it. Brock Purdy, the list goes down. Jimmy G, you can think of anybody. And Mac Jones is filling in perfectly for a team. If you thought probably 2 months ago, oh my God, Mac Jones has to play this many games, we're in trouble. And they're right in the mix, man. They're right in the mix in first place.
You know what I mean? It works out for him.
Yeah, exactly. It's working out for them. Jackson Dart, man, he's looked really good. Despite him not having anybody there on offense for him, he's still doing well. And, the defense, they need to figure it out. They have too many guys on that team to not be good. I don't get that with the Giants either. And then we got the Steelers beating the Colts 27-20. Big win for Pittsburgh after their last 2 weeks. And the Colts, I think people are a little skeptical of them against a good team, especially against a good defense. Because Daniel Jones, he threw for 342 yards, but a lot of that was at the end of the second half when they were down and they had to keep trying to chase points. So I don't think he had that good of a game. And they turned the ball over like 6 times. So this is the thing.
That's uncharacteristic of him.
Yeah, this year, we should say. This year. Because, in his career, he has been turnover prone. But as a team, they turned it over 6 times. You're never going to win a game like that. It's just not possible.
Right, exactly.
And for Pittsburgh, it just shows they get those defensive guys playing to buy in all together in that system. There's going to be very hard to beat because they have guys there. They just have not been consistent. That's the key for them. The Broncos beat the Texans 18-15. This was a terrible game pretty much until the end when Denver once again wins another one-possession game. I think they're like 4 or 5-0 at this point in one-possession games. And that's the difference. We see it every year. There's a team that comes out of nowhere because they win the close games. And listen, when you got Sean Payton on that sideline, makes a hell of a difference. That's all you need. Agreed. That's all you need, man. That's all you need. And Will Lutz has been making game-winning kicks left and right for Denver. And, that's good for them. But I don't enjoy the Broncos doing well because I'm not a Sean Payton guy. But I do like Bo Nix. I think he can be something. He just needs to be more confident in himself, I think, a little bit more.
A little comment about the Steelers here.
Aaron Rodgers. I know. I hate him. Let's move on. I can't stand him. But I mean, listen, they do have – that's the difference with the Steelers. I'm being serious. But with the Steelers, they needed somebody to be – the adult in the room at the quarterback position, which they haven't had since Big Ben, in my opinion. I know they've had guys along the way. And yeah, he's being the adult in the room in the sense of on the field. I think he's a terrible leader. I've always thought that even before he was with the Jets. I never thought he was a true, leader. But I mean, he's winning games for them. They're 5-3. I just don't think they're going to do anything in the playoffs. I don't know how they're going to be able to score enough points against, some of those better teams. But we'll see. He'll probably make me eat my words at some point. Jacksonville in the big game for them, just to say, in the middle of the playoff mix, and they're still in the playoffs. They won that game 30-29 in overtime. Raiders went for 2 at the end of that, Biggie. I think that was the right move. I can't really argue that.
Yeah, but that's just the Las Vegas Raiders for you this year. That sums up their season.
Yeah, I feel bad for Pete Carroll, and I think as long as he's there, as long as he's as head coach of the Raiders, they're not going to just tank. They can't afford to. He's an old coach, older coach.
In a sense, that did. Some of the other ones though, no, they haven't.
No, yeah, they're gonna have to go out there and they're gonna have to get another veteran in the offseason because Geno Smith is not it for them. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see the quarterback carousel definitely come into effect. I have a feeling this offseason is going to be a big, QB movement just because the draft is not really looking too great for quarterbacks. Rams once again scoring over 30 points. I'm telling you, Biggie. They can do it. They can win the Super Bowl. They have it all, man. They have it all. They have it all. Stafford dicing it up. Yeah, he was a little – his health was a little in doubt in the beginning of the year, and you don't even have to worry about it. I just hit my microphone almost over getting excited about him. But, yeah, you got Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams. That's all you need. You can do anything you want with that offense. And Devontae is eating right now in terms of touchdowns. I think he has 8 already halfway through the year. That's a match made in heaven right there. Stafford, Devontae, and then you have Puka, who just gets you can't double both of them, so you got to be able to do something in the
receiver room.
Yeah, definitely. Bills won a huge game against the Chiefs, 28-21. But this is the same story we always see. Bills win in the regular season. Chiefs do win in the postseason.
Yeah, and you know what? I even said it. I thought that the Chiefs would get this one, and then it'd be finally time for the Bills to get it in the postseason. But this may be a topic for a different day. But I don't think the Chiefs make the AFC Championship this year.
Right now, they're not even in the playoffs, Biggie. So they have work to do. They have work.
Right.
And the division, what are they? They're like 2 games out of the division now, too.
I think so, yeah. So we might not even have to play them.
That's the best bet, I think, for Buffalo. If they don't even have to play them. Because I think they can beat anybody else in the AFC.
For the most part, yeah.
And I think it's a mental thing, too, for them. They're like, oh, my God, we have to play the Chiefs in the postseason.
Yeah.
We don't have a chance. We don't ever have a chance with them. But, yeah, we'll see. But Buffalo, once again, gets that win in the regular season. 2-0 again off the bye. So I think the Bills have figured some things out. And they need to win a division themselves because the Patriots aren't going away. So that's big.
Right, yeah.
That's another thing.
Now you actually have some competition in that division.
Exactly. That's what I wanted to say. In the past few years, if the Bills or Chiefs struggled a little bit, they're like, oh, okay, we have time. We can fix it. They don't have that luxury this year because they got 2 teams that are young and ready to go. Yep. I like to see that. I want to see some new blood. We should put it that way. We need to see something different in the playoffs this year. And then Sunday night, Seahawks won 38-14. We did touch upon this game a little bit before. Sam Darnold cooking it up. I'm so happy for him. Finally, last year he was coming out party, and I think he's now once again showing that he really is a good quarterback and just never was put in the right situation in the beginning of his career, which is, when we talked about this, when you come to the Jets, usually places where you mess up your career. And then when you leave, you become good again. It's just the way it goes. And then Monday night, Cardinals beat the Cowboys 27-17. Jacoby Brissett, he's got the starting job, man. So Kyler Murray looks like he's going to be taking his work somewhere else next year. I don't know if I believe even regardless what they think of Jacoby Brissett doesn't matter. They're going to have a new starter next year. And then Kyler Murray will be on a different team. That's just how I feel about it.
I think the writing's on the wall. I mean, if it happens, we're not going to be shocked, to be honest with you.
No, I really don't think so. It seems like, especially now, I think their eyes have opened up a little bit. When you look at it, you're like, oh, Jacoby Brissett is operating this offense better than Kyler Murray's probably ever had.
Yep.
And it's like,
okay. Like I said, writing's on the wall.
Yep. I think so. And at least they got Marvin Harrison going too, which is something that has been a topic of conversation with Arizona lately for them. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with Arizona. They got a tough game coming up, which we'll get to. And then let's do a team who impressed you in week 9. So for me, it's Carolina, man. They're 5-4. They don't have a 5-4 type of roster. I think they're here a year early. I was like, okay, this year they'll have a few wins, and I think next year will be the year they take off a little bit. And they're impressing. Man. You go in Green Bay, I don't care who it is. from the Packers standpoint. Like, you go in Green Bay and you beat them, good for you,
good.
man. And that impressed me. That really did impress me in the way they did. It was a gritty, hard-fought game. Weather was not in their favor, very windy, and they go out there and win a close one. I like that.
Yeah, for me, I'm going to say the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, obviously, that's a game they probably would have won regardless, but the way they did it, how big of
dominating
one they dominated. It looked like didn't look like an NFL game. So that really impressed me. I knew the Seahawks were good, but I didn't think they'd go out on Sunday Night Football and kill the Commanders, like literally kill them. You know,
yeah, from start to finish.
What was it, 28-0 at one point?
It was. Yeah, it was.
That impressed me a lot. And then if we had to do like an honorable mention, I'd say the Cardinals too, just because I was surprised about Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah, he looked great. He did look great. I like that. But Seattle, definitely, they're impressing everybody right now. Just to how good they've looked over the past few weeks and just the whole season in general. Let's preview Week 10 here. So Week 10 seems like it's not going to be as great of a week in terms of matchups. We do have a few. Some good matchups coming up. Thursday may not be one of those though. Raiders are going to Denver.
Yes.
I don't know about this one. I feel like this is going to be a Denver win, and they're going to go to 8-2. They just seem like a team that's destined to be good, just because of at the end of the year, like really deep in the postseason, just because that defense is no joke. They keep them in every game. It doesn't matter who you play. And if Bo Nix can be consistent on the offensive end, they can't be stopped. And we've seen that when they score, they blow teams out because their defense is just so good every single game. There's never a game where you look at that Denver defense and be like, oh, they didn't play good today. They're always playing really good football, and they're always, they're laying. I'm not saying dirty hits, but they hit you hard. They let you know they're there. That's how they make you feel. And then Sunday, we do have another 9:30 game. So we had 2 weeks off from that. We're back.
We're back.
This one is in Germany, though, so it's a little different. Falcons, the inconsistent Falcons, are taking on the Colts team that needs to, get back in the win column. I'm actually intrigued by this game. I think this is going to be a much better game than people think, just because the Falcons, you don't know what Falcons team you're going to get, but if they play well, it's going to be a good game, I think, regardless.
Great. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think the Colts, though, they need a win. They need one.
They do. They just need to get back on track a little bit. I don't think people are worried. I just think people are like, I don't think they're as good maybe as they thought. But now they got Sauce Gardner over there, though, so he can
we'll
up down the defense a little bit. And it's still upsetting me.
Yeah, it will for a little bit.
It's gonna sting for a little bit. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. Let's move on to the Giants taking on the Bears. So Jackson Dart once again. I think he's going to play well this week, but we know kind of the writing's on the wall with the Giants. They may play well on offense, but that defense is going to struggle. And Caleb Williams has been locked in. He's been really good.
Yeah, I think the Bears continue. I don't know. I just think the Giants.
Something about them. There's something about them. Ben Johnson just got the. I don't know. It's always like Biggie. You can agree with me, I think, on this. It's always like every year there's like one of those teams that they. I'm not saying the Bears aren't talented. I'm just saying they have like the vibe around them. They're going to do something special. Maybe not this year, but I think the Bears can make the postseason this year, which probably didn't think it was possible in the beginning when you look at the division they're in.
Right, yeah. And they're competing, man. That's And the Giants, like you said, I mean, Jackson Dart, get the man a defense, please. Please.
That's got to be on the shopping list next year. Or maybe a new voice for them, something. Because the Giants have too many good players on that side of the ball to just suck every week. Like they filled up
agreed.
30-something points every single week. Like lately, it's ridiculous. Then we got Buffalo taking on Miami. I would expect this one to be over in the third quarter. Miami just looks like they're packing it in. They fired the GM last week. McDaniel looks like
McDaniel's next.
He's definitely next. And Tua doesn't seem like they want him there anymore. So they got a lot of turmoil going on. It seems like the Bills, they're not going to mess around now. They need a win every single week just because the Patriots don't lose either. So I think this one's going to be I don't think it's going to be a really close game at all. Maybe at the end, but I don't think it'll be. I mean, maybe towards the end, and the Bills will take off, but we'll see. And then the Ravens are playing the Vikings. Very intrigued by this game, just because the Vikings, what they did last week. There's a sneaky potential to be game of the week, I think.
I think so too.
But I want to see J.J. McCarthy against this Ravens defense that looked better lately. I want to see that.
Yeah.
And then I want to talk to you about this. Lamar did not run around as much as he usually does against Miami. I want to see what he does with a little extended rest after playing a game, and he's going to have to run around against this defense. Too. Yeah, exactly. And the Vikings defense, they blitz. They don't stop. So I want to see Lamar have to scramble around, see if that hammy, as good as he seems He's saying it is, but I want to see him actually scramble around and run a little bit. I want to see if it's actually, good. And then probably one of the worst games of the year. I mean, we could say the week, but probably the year. Browns taking on the Jets. I'll be in probably be in attendance for that one. I don't know. I don't know how. I don't know about that. I don't the way. I don't know, man. This is gonna be brutal. Biggie, I might as well just like go to sleep if I even go. Right?
Hey, don't sleep on this game. I know we didn't get. Let me just keep going. Keep going. I gotta wait.
I don't even know what to say about this game.
Yeah. So move on. We'll go because we have another segment after this I want to talk about.
All right. Yeah. But so right now the Jets. I just wanted to say one thing about the Jets.
Yeah.
I don't know who their quarterback is yet, but they're gonna play this game every single week because they're that good where they can mess around with the other opponent. They are that good. Everyone wants to know who's playing quarterback for the Jets because they care so much about them. Watch out until Saturday. You'll find out who's playing QB for the Jets on Saturday. Oh man, they're one hell of an organization. Let me put it that way. Patriots versus the Bucks. This is gonna be a great game. I wish Tom Brady was calling this one, but it's on Fox, which is the only thing. Tom Brady's not gonna be able to call that, but that would be a pretty cool thing to hear Tom Brady, do both of his former teams. But regardless, I think it would probably be Jim Nantz and Tony Romo because it will be a really good game. Drake May, Baker Mayfield. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Legendary matchup. I love it.
It's going to be good. Really, really good. And if the Patriots win this one, that's another statement to be like, okay, we just beat a really good team on the road, and we're going to keep proving people wrong. But we'll see. Saints against the Panthers. Panthers, you beat the Packers on the road. Got to go out there and get another win. Get yourself to 6-4, and you're really in the mix of a playoff spot. So we'll see with that. Jacksonville against Houston. Texans, regardless if CJ Stroud is in there or not, they need a win to keep that season alive.
Yeah.
And if Jacksonville, for them, they win this game, they're really solidifying themselves. And if they lose, they kind of fall back, they're
going to be like, okay, yeah, we're just as, we're mediocre like people expect us to be. If you win, you're like, oh, Jacksonville's, in the mix now.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see what happens with those two teams. But both teams definitely have to, they have a lot to play for. Cardinals are another team trying to keep the season alive against Seattle, who we talked about. They look unbeatable lately, and we'll see. Rams taking on the 49ers. Very excited for this one. Brock Purdy may play. He may not play. We don't know yet, but I think it'll still be a good game anyway. Rams always struggle with the 49ers for some reason. I don't know why, but they do. Like, it doesn't matter.
Those two teams know each other really well. That's the thing.
They do, but it's always – that's why I was going to say, if they know each other so well, I don't know why it's always one-sided. It seems like the 49ers just own them, regardless of who's playing quarterback, who's doing that, who's doing what, whatever. The 49ers always seem like they own the Rams, and we'll see. But I think the Rams, for them, they got to get this win just because it seems like the 49ers may struggle a little bit with the schedule that's coming up for them. But we'll see. But the Rams have been flying high on all cylinders. Then the next game we got was the Lions taking on the Commanders. Doesn't have as much juice in it just because Jaden Daniels is not going to be available. Lions need to bounce back. They need a nice win on the road. Marcus Mariota, don't count him out, though. It seems like he can get those boys to play pretty good for him when he's in there. We saw that against the Chiefs until, the third quarter of that game, but we'll see. And then the Steelers back again on Sunday night taking on the Chargers. I want to see what the Chargers can do. Now, without Joe Alt, we talked about that, but also what they can do against this defense because the Steelers, I think that they figured out some things that they need to figure out personnel-wise last week, right, where if they can, do that again, they can provide give some challenges to Herbert. We'll see. We'll see what happens with that one as well. I know we keep seeing that. I know I keep saying that, I should say, but I want to see that. I really want to see what Herbert can do against the defense. It looks like they figured it out. I think this is going to be a really good matchup. And then Monday night, your Eagles are taking on the Packers, which should be another really good game.
I hope so. Yeah. I'm a little worried about it, just based on the fact the Packers are going to be looking for a win.
They are. They're just because of
coming
bad
off
performance.
A bye week. I'm a little nervous for it.
Yeah, either the bye week can help you, or it can really make you look rusty.
I just think, and it's a game where I think the Packers are going to be looking for that win after what happened this Sunday, and it's a Monday night at Lambeau Field too. That's another thing.
That's another element, man. Monday night, I'm sure it's gonna be cold there. I don't know. I'm not a weatherman.
Lambeau Field, dude. It's just a tough place to play, regardless.
It is a night game in Lambeau in November. Usually gonna be you put your bets on that's gonna be a cold one.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens. That's gonna be a really good game to round out the week, though. I'm excited for that one. And then let's do a team to watch in Week 10. For me, I'm gonna go back to the Ravens. I think the Ravens are the team to watch. Because if they're right now, they're 3-5. They go into Minnesota. That's a big win. They get to 4-5. They keep getting closer to 500, and they want to make the postseason, which I still think they can. You have to win pretty much every game coming up for a few weeks now, and you can't afford to have any slip ups. You go to 3-6, that doesn't look so good. 4-5 looks a lot better. So we'll see. But Biggie, who do we got as your team for week 10 to watch?
All right. Get your mental hospital signature ready. Drum roll, please. The New York Jets.
Oh, man.
Okay, hear me out. You don't know who the quarterback's going to be, right?
I mean, I would. I don't know why you wouldn't play the guy that did win you a game last week. But,
Okay, right.
Yeah,
so
we don't.
So let's say they do. Let's say they do. What happened with Mike White a few years ago?
What do you mean? What part of Mike White?
Came in the game when he came in for the Jets?
Oh yeah, he did win that
performance. He had his jersey's in the NFL Hall of Fame for that. By the way, I hope you know.
Oh, the Bengals performance.
Yeah, right. Okay, so you come off a bye week. You come off your first win. I'm not saying that Nick Mangold's death is going to be a huge impact in this one. Obviously, it was when it happened 40 minutes before your game, but I think that added a little juice. And, you have a guy that won you a game last week. You're playing a team that's very beatable, too, by the way.
They are beatable.
Cleveland Browns are extremely beatable. Yeah, their defense may be all right, but they can't do anything offensively. So give me the New York Jets to be your team to watch. Go 2 in a row.
Wow. All right. Don't get my hopes up. But I'm listening, but don't
go
get
to
my
that game,
up.
by the way.
Oh, man.
It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, I've been thinking about this all day since they got rid of. I'm only gonna watch offensive possessions, and if the play doesn't go to Breece Hall or Garrett Wilson, I'm turning my head. I'm not looking. So
right.
If it doesn't touch their hands, I don't care. I really don't care.
All right.
And on defense, I might not watch defense anymore. I don't. You know when you play like Madden, you sim like the defensive part of the game.
Yeah,
that's what I'm gonna do. I'm not watching. I'll just close my eyes, look on my phone, and if Nick Folk comes on the field, I'm standing up, giving him an ovation every time he kicks the ball.
Yeah,
because he's our team MVP.
Doing crazy Dom.
So I'm watching. I think I'm gonna watch a combined 3 players on the team now: Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson.
The only ones that matter.
Yeah, that's really the only ones I care about.
They're not bad players either, man. They're not.
They're not. But yeah,
that's the Jets a little too much. But I think this is a very winnable game for them.
Yeah, listen, I'm not a big tank guy. I don't believe in that. I really don't.
And the Jets never do. You know what I mean? They could be terrible, but they never tank.
They find a way just to win 3 or 4 games when they shouldn't.
Exactly. That's what
I don't even care about that. I just I wanted to see them. I just want to see them win. But listen, if you're gonna lose games, if you lose them close, it happens. Just don't get blown out. And if you win, you win. I'm not gonna. You can't discredit a win. A win is a win. And it's good for the locker room. I don't think people that believe in tanking and stuff like that, I don't think they understand what it means to play a sport and be in a locker room. Because when you lose, and it's not just one guy that's affected. Everybody is in the same boat, and they're like, "Man, we gotta get one. We gotta get one." They did get one last week.
Locker room attitude means a lot, and when
it does.
And especially usually the locker room sucks if you're not winning.
Exactly, it's not fun. You can only do so much when you're not winning to make it fun.
Right,
winning cures everything. We always talk about that, and it's also if you really believe Glenn is your coach, you got to win games. You got to do something to get the players to buy into what he's trying to teach.
Right.
I'm not a fan of him, but if you're coming from that angle, you got to be able to be like, oh, we got to win some games down the stretch here. You started out 1-7, but if you win some games at the end of the year, okay, you have something to think about when you go look for your quarterback of the future in the offseason, because that's priority number 1 ahead of anything else. Not even close. Quarterback that's what you need. We've seen this. If you don't have a quarterback, you're not winning anything. It does not matter what the rest of your team looks like. And we talked about this earlier in the show, but anyone that missed it was the fact that I am upset, more than upset, that Sauce and Quinnen is gone. But Biggie made a good point. Did you win anything with them? No, you didn't. But I just felt that they should have kept those guys around. And then you get a quarterback. Now you have a quarterback with a weapon like Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, an offensive line that looks okay. And then you have building blocks on defense, a Sauce Gardner, a Quinnen Williams, a Jermaine Johnson, who didn't get traded, which I thought he was going to be one that was gone as well today. Then you would have some guys there. Now it seems like the defense, you totally got to build up from scratch again, and you got to go from there. And you better hit on the draft picks, like I said. If you don't hit on the draft picks, the trade
That's
didn't
been
work.
the issue. They haven't really been able to.
Exactly. You can't get excited over something. You can't get excited over a trade when you don't know what you're going to get from it in a few years. That you got to wait and see. You got to hold tight and you got to wait and see what happens. But yeah, that's enough. Actually, no, I'm sorry. We have a few other things I skipped over that. So a fantasy guy to pick up or a fantasy, group or whatever. So if you have a chance at getting anyone from the Packers tight end room, I would. Seems like in the red zone, Jordan Love loves hitting the tight end. I know I said love twice there, but he loves hitting the tight end in the red zone. So I don't think it matters who it is. I think if you have somebody available from that Packers tight end room, go and try to pick them up.
Okay. All right. For me personally, I'm gonna go. I would honestly, if I were you, I'd take really any Steelers wide receiver. I know it sounds crazy, but I think they're gonna have another big passing game this Sunday. I think
All
personally,
right.
just because I think the Chargers are the Chargers are obviously good. This is gonna be a good game. But you saw what the Steelers can do. You saw what they can do, and I think their pass game is pretty solid. I think Rodgers is pretty solid there. And they have a good group of receivers. They really do. If you look
They
at
do.
their receiver rooms are really good. I mean, you could take Metcalf, who did not light up the stat sheet last week, but that's someone that consistently, at least for the most part, has done well for them. Or even like someone like Calvin Austin, who's been decent for him as well. Someone like that, like any guys like that, I think work. Where'd you go?
My mic cut out for a second there, but yeah, I agree with you. Like a Calvin Austin too, a guy that probably could be available in some leagues, so go out there and get him. But let's do our lasting NFL standings here. We've been on the NFL for a while. Of
I
course,
know, an hour.
with sports, yeah, an hour on the NFL. But I mean, a lot has happened since the last time we talked, so we definitely had to do that. But I'll run through the NFL standings really quickly here. So we'll start with the AFC East. Patriots at 7-2. Bills at 6-2, so they're leading the way with Miami at 2-7 and the Jets at 1-7. AFC North.
Oh no.
I apologize, guys.
I
What's going on here? I
can
think I'm
hear
back.
you.
Yeah, so we got this.
Oh, now he's gone. Guys, JD's having some technical issues here. This is him right now. Good?
Yeah, I'm good. I don't know why the mic is turning in and out. My apologies, guys. But we got the Steelers at 5-3, leading the AFC North by 2 games over the Ravens, who look like they're going to make something happen. Bengals at 3-6. They've lost the last 2 games that they should have won. Just the defense is atrocious. They let up 300 points already in 9 games. So that is, that's a pretty big number. It's over 30 a game. And then the Browns at 2-6, rounding out that division. AFC South, Colts at 7-2, Jags at 5-3. Texans at 3-5. I think that's a little disappointing in terms of that division. And the Titans at 1-8. They're a dumpster fire. They're
terrible. Oh my god.
For them,
they're so bad.
They're unwatchable. I thought the Jets were unwatchable. They might top.
I'd rather watch the Jets than the Titans.
Really? I agree. The Titans are garbage. The Titans are hot garbage every single week. And to me, I think that for the Titans, your best bet, you get the first pick, and then you trade out of the first pick. You trade out of the first pick, and you get a ton of other draft picks after that, because you don't need the first pick because you're not going to take the quarterback. They have one. I believe they have one. They just need to get they need to figure out the rest of that team there
and a head coach.
Exactly, they need a head coach there. AFC West, Broncos at 7-2. Chargers 6-3, and Chiefs 5-4. Man, so Chiefs are in third place. They've been better lately, but it hasn't really made a difference. And the Raiders at 2-6. Raiders are a dumpster fire this year as well. NFC, we got the Eagles at 6-2, Cowboys at 3-5-1. So it seems like the Eagles got that division, under wraps, which we didn't think so a couple of weeks ago. But now teams. It wasn't really. I mean, the Eagles have won 2 in a row, but it was more so the other teams just stinking it up lately.
I'll tell you this: I think they lose to Dallas when they play them again. That's just my opinion. I think they're gonna lose to Dallas in the second game.
Yeah, I can see that happening as well. It's very very tough to beat a team twice. I just think that the
NFC East that never happens. The only honestly, it's crazy for me to say. I think the only team where they realistically can do that is the Washington Commanders. They haven't played them yet. They're playing them. The oh my god,
they have them twice.
late
They have to play them
December,
twice.
and then the last week of the season, which is weird.
Yeah.
Actually might go down to Washington to see that game. I might.
Oh, nice.
I'm thinking about it. It's like an
Stadium's
idea.
not the greatest, though.
I know. Well, I want to see it before they demolish it. I'm a stadium guy. I'll go see. I'll go see. Scranton.
Make sure you don't get hit with like a pipe on your head or something.
Yeah, right.
It's like wear a hard hat or something because things fly off. I've seen videos.
I'll get my PennDOT hardware.
Yeah, wear the PennDOT hard hat because you don't want to damage the brain. But the Cowboys are in second at 3-5-1. Commanders are 3-6, and the Giants at 2-7. NFC North Packers 5-2-1. Still in first place. Lions are second place at 5-3. Bears are 5-3, and the Vikings are 4-4. So they got everybody at least 500 up right now in that division. It looks like it's gonna be a really a nice race to the end there. I like that. I love to see when a division has 4 teams that actually have a chance at doing something.
It's nice. Yeah, it's really the only one at this point.
At this point. And then, yeah, definitely. NFC South, Bucks at 6-2, Panthers at 5-4, Falcons at 3-5, and the Saints at 1-8. And the NFC West, Seahawks 6-2, Rams 6-2, 49ers 6-3. And then we got the Cardinals at 3-5 after a nice win last night. Cardinals can very easily have 6 wins as well. They've blown the 5 games they've lost have all been by like 4 points or less. So they can very easily.
This is another one that if the Cardinals squeaked out those wins, it'd be even more competitive in the NFC North.
They would be 100%. They've been good this year. It's just like they can't close out the games when the difference is the Seahawks, Rams can, and the 49ers as well. That's the difference.
I didn't realize, man, the AFC sucks this year, man.
It does. The
NFC, terrible.
Besides the Chiefs. They're the only team over 500 outside of the playoffs. So there's not really going to be much competition in terms of like who can come back and.
As I was saying before he stopped, though, you good? Yeah, you're good. You're good. Oh, no, you're not. Now you are.
I'm good. I think I'm good. Yeah, that'll do it for NFL. Let's move to the MLB where we got the Dodgers. They won the World Series. They went back to back. Of course, 1 in 7 games against the Blue Jays. Everyone is hot. Can they stop winning? And what they're going to do in the offseason. They're going to go out there and get the highest paid. It's so tiring. Like enough. We don't want to see them win anymore. We don't want to see them win.
Salary cap, for Christ's sake.
Oh man, yeah. For the love of God, please do something different. I know the commissioner loves the Dodgers, but like at some point you don't want to see the team win 10 World Series in a row. I mean, come on. Someone's got to do something to stop this. Dodgers were up 2-1. They went down 3-2. They won the series 4-3. So they were, it was a really good World Series. That
historic one too.
Yeah, Biggie, we talked about this the other night. We were like, I think this might have been one of the best World Series that we've seen in our lives. Like, there's been good ones, but this is up there, man. This is up there. The extra 18-inning game that they had in Game 4. This game went into extra innings. Yamamoto he pitches Game 6, 96 pitches, comes out there again in Game 7, throws 2 2/3 for the win. I mean, that's something you don't see a lot. He went 3-0 in the series. He won 3 of the 4 games. He pitched Game 2 and Game 6 and closed out, Game 7 at the end like that. That is insane. But yeah, it was a really good World Series. We'll see what happens in the offseason for these two teams. It seems like the Dodgers are going to go out there and just continue to just, sign everybody possible, which is going to piss everyone off. But they can do it. They can do it, I guess, right?
Yeah.
You can't really get too – it's insane. Other MLB news, you got Yu Darvish, who's out for the 2026 season after UCL surgery. So he's getting up there in age. Seems like he was injured this year as well. Seems like his career is coming down to an end a little bit. Cubs lefty Shoto Imanaga is now a free agent after opting out of his contract, which I think is a surprise by many. This is basically the only reason why I wrote him as being one of the guys that are opting out, because there was other guys that opted out, but I don't think anyone was shocked by it. A lot of people are shocked by this one, and people are already saying, "Oh, seems like the Dodgers look like they got their 5th starter." I was like, "Of course they do, because of course they want to get another international player and add it to the great guys they have there already." The awards, we're not going to talk about them tonight, but we will just mention it briefly. All the awards we announce next week, mostly all of them, I think, except for MVP, will be done before our show next week, so we can get into that and talk about that more next week. And free agency as well. Free agency starts Thursday with a lot of big names going to be available. It's going to be an offseason that everyone's going to try to beat the Dodgers. So it's going to be like everyone trying to catapult each other.
Yeah, it's everyone
to get
against the Dodgers. Yeah.
Exactly. That's what they're going to try to do. And I would expect the National League to have a lot of movement just to try to see who can build the best roster to try to get to the Dodgers. I don't know how they're going to do it, but we'll see. But that starts Thursday. So a lot of big names are going to be available. We'll talk about that as well next week. And then let's move to college basketball. So first time we've talked about college basketball, I think on the show together, just because when we started it, it wasn't going on. It was over already. And yeah, I'm a big college basketball guy. And let's break down the top 25 because there's no reason to talk about the games just yet, just because basically the most part, the top teams are playing nobodies. There's a few really good games.
Binghamton last night, Binghamton U.
yeah, they did. Syracuse. I want to talk about Syracuse in a few moments too. We could talk about them just because of who they have on their team. I'm very excited for him. But the top 25, Biggie, if you want, do you want to read any of these? We can read we could do half like we do with the college football if you want.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
You want to start though?
Because I'll start. I'll do the first
basketball than I am. So
yeah, I got you. Yeah, I'll do the first. I'll do the first 13, and then you can take over for the last 12, like we usually do, and then we can flip it for football. But let's start. We got Purdue ranked at number 1. We got Houston at ranked number 2. So those are two teams that have been more recently up there, and they're not really a firepower. You think of the superstars on that team. They're more of a gritty defensive group which wins in March and April. We've seen it. I mean, both of these teams have done it. Then we got the Florida Gators, defending champs. They're going to be a really good team again. They've lost guys. But they've lost guys to bring guys in that can be just as good. UConn at number 4, who anybody that knows me, they know I don't like UConn for the team that's up next at number 5, St. John's.
Yes.
Highest ranking I've ever seen my Johnny's at in my life. So I'm very excited for them.
That's awesome. Good for them.
It's great. It's great.
I'm a St. John's guy now too.
Yeah. Rick Pitino, man, the Godfather, as his nickname is, he's got the boys going. They look really good yesterday. I know they didn't play a good team. Quinnipiac, they played, who's a lesser D1 team, but they still went out there. They scored a ton of points. They look great. Saturday, they got Bama, so that's going to be a nice test for them because Bama's in the rankings. Duke's at number 6. Duke's going to be really good this year. They got the Boozer brothers, who we'll talk about in a little bit.
Yep.
The Boozer twins, I should say. Duke's always good, but this year I think they got the makings of a really, really good team. Michigan at number 7, who's back in the rankings for first time in a little bit. BYU at number 8. They have 2 guys that will probably be drafted in the top 15 of the NBA draft next year. So keep an eye on BYU, which I don't think anybody has said in a while.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, really. Because I don't think, to me, from what I remember in the past years, I didn't really remember them being anything. Kentucky at number 9. Texas Tech at 10. Louisville, some ACC love.
Yeah.
Number 11. I mean, you remember last time Louisville was a legit contender. It's been a while. It was Rick Pitino, pretty much.
Yeah, it was.
It was been a while. UCLA at number 12. They didn't have a good year last year, but we'll see what they can do this year. And Arizona at 13. I think they're going to be a good team as well. But these rankings don't mean anything just because these teams can, the team that's in the rankings right now may not even be there in like 2 weeks. So we'll see.
Well, yeah.
But what do we got for the rest of it? Yeah.
Especially as we get into the deeper parts of it. But Arkansas at 14, they'll still be there. Bama, who's been pretty good in basketball as of late.
They can score, man. They can score.
They can score. Yes, absolutely. Iowa State, who's also been up there a little bit more. Illinois has been had some really good seasons past couple of years. Tennessee, always pretty decent. Kansas, always pretty decent. That a lot of historical stuff with Kansas.
The Blue Bloods, the Blue Bloods programs. Yep.
Auburn basketball, number 20. Gonzaga at 21. They're a team that's usually here and there.
Mm-hmm. Auburn's got a new coach too. I forgot to mention that. Auburn's got a new coach, so watch out for that.
Yeah, it could mean something because they just can't get
it. Could, yeah, you could.
Yeah. Michigan State at 22, Creighton at 23, who's also another team that does pretty well in basketball every year. Wisconsin, and UNC's at 25.
Back in the rankings. They need a bounce back year. They need a really, they need a bounce.
They need a bounce back year from the last They need to bounce back from the last 3 or 4 years.
No, you're right. You're right.
The Tar Heels have not been the same, and Duke really hasn't either. But Duke, at least in the last 2 years, has picked it up. But after Coach K retired, they kind of fell off a little bit, but they picked it right back up.
Yeah, you're right. Really good rankings so far, and there's some other teams that are, they're going to come out of nowhere. We'll see what happens. I'm really excited for this year. We'll see. But some other things that we could talk about here is the sons of NBA players in college now. It's expanding, and we can go through the list here. We got Bryce James playing with Arizona. So Bronny, of course, is in the NBA with LeBron, and now his younger son Bryce is with Arizona, so we'll see what he does. Cameron and Caden Boozer. Cameron Boozer is an absolute stud. So Boozer, he played for the Bulls when like Derrick Rose was there and all that. He was he was a gritty type of player, but I think his sons are going to be better than he was, which is going to be really good. That should be an exciting time for him. He got 2 sons playing for Duke, so that's going to be great. Kyan Anthony, I'm very excited for him with Syracuse. He had 15 points last night.
Yeah.
Going to where his dad played for only 1 year, but I mean that was a memorable year for Carmelo. And
and I'll touch on it once we go through everyone else. I want to talk about Syracuse basketball because I do follow them, not as much as the football program, obviously, but now I kind of am following the basketball program more because the football program is a freaking joke. I'll get into that later too. I have a lot modeled up, but go ahead.
Yeah, and then we got Shaquille O'Neal, which is Shaq's son at Florida A&M. He's been in college, but he just made a transfer this year. And Andre Iguodala Jr. So, yeah, that name rings a bell.
Weird.
That one does sound weird.
That old man. Oh my god.
That one sounds weird. He's at Baylor. I don't think he played last night. He's a freshman. So we'll see. But keep an eye on that. I think the guy to keep note on though is Boozer, Cameron Boozer. He's going to be.
He's probably the best one out of this crew.
I would say so. Yeah, I would say so.
Kyan Anthony comes close, but here's the problem with Kyan Anthony. He's put on a Syracuse team that's just not at a place that's going to not in the spot that's going to win. I just think. Look, I just don't think we have. Syracuse's pedigree has gone down in the last couple of years. Like Syracuse basketball has been, a top name in college basketball for a long time. Yeah. And I just don't think we're there anymore. I don't like Adrian Autry. I don't think he's a good coach. I just don't think he was the right guy to to be the predecessor of Jim Boeheim. I just don't think that was the guy. I think you needed to go elsewhere. I think they should have hired Jerry McNamara. I think they should have. I don't know why we didn't. But yeah, Syracuse basketball has kind of been a flop, especially last season. They were terrible last year. Football was good and basketball was bad. That's you don't see that ever at Syracuse. That's like the opposite.
That's not good.
It's always people telling me they're like, "Oh, you guys are a basketball school. You guys are a basketball school." You know what I mean? Growing up, everyone would always make fun of me for that. You like a basketball school in football. I'm like, yeah, I know. Kyan Anthony's really good. I'm really excited for him, obviously. But I just don't think he has the other guys around him. And Adrian Autry is not a good coach. I truly think that this is his last season as Syracuse head coach. I don't think they're going to be much of an impact in the ACC. Kyan's going to be really good. But the Syracuse team is just not good. The program's needs a reset to go back to the Boeheim days. We're not there. I don't think Autry is the guy for it.
Yeah, I'm. That's why I was happy to see him play. Me being a Knicks fan, Carmelo. I remember when I was younger, he got traded to the Knicks, and I was like, oh my god. That was like when I know I sound old saying this, but like when newspapers a big thing. When they got traded to the Knicks, and he was on the front cover of it. I remember everyone in the house was like, "Oh, Carmelo, we got Carmelo," and now his son's playing. I'm so excited for him, and I hope he becomes something legit because I'm rooting for him. And he played I think he played high school ball in Long Island. I think so. He's from the area, like for me at least.
New York,
yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm excited for him. Let's slide to the NHL where we'll stay in New York a little bit. Number 1 pick, Matthew Schaefer, becomes youngest defenseman to have multi-goal game at just 18 years old. Also has 10 points in 12 games. Biggie, you know more than me about him as being the number 1 pick of this year's draft, but how has he been so impressive this early, especially at such a young age?
Yeah, and I mean he really has been. I'm surprised, and it's a New York Islanders team that's
not supposed to be that good, right?
Not that good, right? Yeah. Especially in a very competitive metropolitan division, they're not very good. But yeah, 10 points in 12 games is pretty good for a rookie, and especially an 18-year-old rookie too. Yeah, I think he's pretty solid. He adds a spark to the Islanders, which they need.
I forgot who we were talking about. We were saying it about like Jackson Dart. I know we talk about him a lot. We're like, yeah, Jackson Dart commands the Giants locker room, and I feel like Schaefer has done the same thing with the Islanders. He's commanding, like, there's veterans on that team, veterans that are like 35 years old, and the guy's 17 years younger than them, and they're like gravitating towards him because he's shown
that's
leadership.
That's obviously, I'm not knocking the kid because he's very, very good. But I think that's a showing of the Islanders that they're not a great team. You know what I mean? If you're relying on your 18-year-old first overall draft pick to be your guy, you need to do something. And obviously, I think now they have a little more juice with Schaefer. So I hope for the Islanders' sake, this allows them to go out and get some guys and make some moves, you know what I mean, and continue to build that draft capital, because the way the lottery goes, they might have another first overall pick next year, or
Possible.
a top 3 pick at least. So if they can keep drafting well, they might be pretty good in the next couple of years. And if they can get 1 or 2 free agent pickups, like, either or a couple trades at the trade deadline, or like over the summer, get a few free agent pickups, they could be dangerous. Especially just because of the way the lottery falls for them. And obviously that's going to go down as they get better, but they're not at a point where they're going to be better. I think they're still going to be in that top 5, even top 3 in the NHL draft. So take advantage of it while you can, because, obviously it's not like the NFL where the worst team gets the first pick. It's lottery. It's different.
Lottery, yeah, like the NBA.
So, take advantage of that opportunity while you have it, New York Islanders. Pick up some guys in free agency, make some trades, and set yourselves up nicely, because they can be dangerous in a year or two, especially if Schaefer, continues to play this way.
Oh yeah. And you kind of let a little segue in there in terms of the lottery. Right now, we don't even know in terms of who would even be in that. I know we're still early into the season,
early to tell.
But I wanted to say, coming into play in the Eastern Conference, coming into play tonight, every single team in the Eastern Conference has at least a 500 record or better, and where everyone has played at least 11 games. So that's pretty impressive. Yeah. That is that's pretty. I couldn't believe that, and everyone has at least 13 points. So there's no one, like that has like 5 points or 8 points.
Yeah, no.
Everyone has double-digit points already. Biggie, I think the Eastern Conference is even better than we put it out to be when we talked about this.
Yeah. I mean, we knew it was going to be good, but this is blowing our minds.
It really is. And if you want, we could do it now. Let's go through the standings. I'll let you take care of the East. I'll take care of the West as usual.
Sounds good.
Whenever you're ready, let's go through it. But yeah, everyone has a winning record coming into tonight, because we don't know what the scores are and stuff like that right now.
All right,
but
cool.
yeah, well, let's take a look at this.
All right, we're gonna go.
Fascinating.
We're gonna go in the Atlantic Division. Montreal on top. They look really, really good. They're actually playing my Flyers right now. The score of that game as we speak is 4-3 Montreal. I'll get into the Flyers once again in the Metro, because they've fallen off a little bit. No, we're back to being the Flyers. But anyway, Montreal and Detroit are leading the Atlantic right now. I mean, come on, what are we seeing here? The Montreal Canadiens look good. And then Toronto in third, they're holding up, to say the least. I keep bringing up Mitch Marner. You lose him, that's a big loss. And they're still holding up, but they still have pieces, so it makes sense. Tampa Bay's up there now a little bit. The Ottawa Senators actually are 6-5-2 on the year now and have 14 points. That's honestly a little surprising.
Pretty good for them, yeah.
Especially for a division with, Toronto and Boston and Florida, who are not very good right now. Florida 6-5-1, but they have 13 points only this year. You know what I mean? And it just goes to show you how competitive this is, because you have Tampa Bay with 6-4, Ottawa at 6-5, which we didn't expect. You have Boston at 7-7. Who is not great. This is going to be a developmental kind of rebuild year for Boston. Florida, though, wow. I mean, goes to show you how competitive this is. And then obviously some shockers with Ottawa being up there, and then Montreal and Detroit being the top 2 teams. Florida's second to last behind Buffalo, who, still has the same amount of points as Florida right now, which is crazy to say. But let's go into the Metro, the better division. We know that.
Yeah, we're Metro
New Jersey
guys.
Devils, dude. Wow. New Jersey Devils look good. They're playing like they should. I mean, we kind of expected them to be this good. They always are. But then let's get into the team. I'm going to say it later too, but I'll say it now. Pittsburgh Penguins. Wow.
Yeah.
The UNC team is doing well.
With a new coach, I don't think people expected that.
Refresh there at the head coach. That's all it took. I mean, they look great. Crosby and Malkin look like they did when they were like in their mid-20s.
They do.
Wow. They do. I mean, some good prospects as well. I just know from being in the area with being a fan of the local Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins. That's the prospects for them. Carolina, they're third, 7-4, 14 points. They're always pretty solid. Columbus is 7-5 this year. They've shot up in the last couple weeks. The Rangers have picked it up slightly. They're playing a little bit better than they started out as.
A little better, yeah. Still don't have a home win though.
Yeah, they don't yet. But the Islanders, like we just talked about with Schaefer, they're picking it up a little bit as well. They're exceeding expectations right now. Don't know if that's going to stay. Obviously with Columbus being up there, I just don't think that it's hockey. It's how it works. Washington. They're 6-5-1 as well with 13 points. So the bottom 3 teams all have 13 points, and then then 3 through 6 all have 14. The top 2 are the Devils.
I was going to say last place is Flyers, but they're only 1 point from third.
Flyers have
1 point from third.
Yeah, That's what I'm
ridiculous.
saying.
But it's great. It's good though. I
Yeah,
like
and I
that.
think part of the reason why they're down, why they're last, is because they lost to Calgary on Sunday, which like
Yeah.
shouldn't have happened. I mean,
No,
that was
no, it can't
ridiculous.
happen.
And you can't
Rangers
lose to
did
the
too.
Calgary Flames. They're absolutely god awful. I don't know how we lost that game. I don't get how you lose that one. But yeah, the East is very, very competitive this year, and the Flyers also had Flyers. Let me guess, it's I didn't get to watch this game. But yeah, Kolozov played that game, who is, a rookie, is, someone that just kind of came into his way here in Philly. So rough start for the young guy. He's only 23 years old.
Mhm.
He's our third option at goalie right now. So,
Yeah.
and he played against Toronto too the week before, and we lost 5-2. So the writing's not on the wall for him there right now. He's not,
It's still early. It's still
the
early.
guy right now for the Flyers. So.
Yeah, it's still early, but I like to see that. Like you were saying, Eastern Conference is really, really good right now, just top to bottom. Everyone has a chance. That's a good thing. I'm sure it won't stay like that, but it's good so far to see that. Western Conference, we got the Avalanche at 7-1-5, so it's something you don't see a lot. That many overtime losses that early in the season, but
Yeah, that's a
they have
lot. Oh my god,
five, yeah, 5 in 13 games. That's crazy.
That's
Uh,
insane. Some teams have that in February.
Yeah, exactly. They got 19 points. Winnipeg at 9-3 with 18 points. Utah Mammoth at 8-4 with 16 points. We said the name change would do wonders for them. Stars at 6-3-3 with 15 points. Blackhawks at 5-5-3 with 13 points. Nashville 5-6-3 with 13 points. Minnesota 4-6-3 with 11 points. And then we got the Blues at 4-7-2 with 10 points. So it seems like a top-heavy division so far. And in the Pacific, we got the Kraken at 6-2-4. They're leading the way with 16 points. Anaheim, I think, Biggie, you would say that's a surprise so far. They're 7-3-1 with 15
Yeah,
points.
that's a little shocking. I just
Yeah.
think Anaheim, and obviously you lose. They over the couple of years, they've lost some of their some younger guys like Trevor Zegras. I'm just talking about the guys that came to Philly, Zegras and Draisaitl, and I have to say it, Cutter Gauthier, I hate you. You suck. You're an awful human being. Sorry. He's not very good. He's their guy out there. And yeah. Do you know the story about that?
Yeah, you've told me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About Cutter's a
Yeah.
loser. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Vegas in third at 6-2-3 with 15 points. Edmonton at 6-5-3 with 15 points. Kings 5-4-4 with 14 points. Vancouver at 7-7 with 14 points. San Jose 4-6-3 with 11 points, and Calgary with 3-9-2 and 8 points. So that'll
They're
wrap
bad.
up the division. They are awful. They are awful.
Calgary's
Yep.
really bad.
Yeah. And before we move on from some hockey, before we get to the NBA, a little quick thing here, Biggie. Any surprise player that you've had so far to start the season in terms of maybe the numbers are better than you expected? Maybe somebody's, I don't know, a goaltender that's just been outstanding, like anything, any player that's caught your eye so far?
Yeah. I want to say Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin, but that would be too obvious because it's like
something a little under the,
yeah, and a
the meat and
little under the
potatoes.
radar. I honestly, I really don't know. I'd have to look into it a little bit more. But I mean, we could talk about Schaefer for the Islanders. I mean, obviously, him being a first overall pick, you're expected to do a lot, but I don't think he was expected to do this much because he's playing really well right now for the Islanders, like exceeding the expectations because he wasn't like Connor Bedard coming into this. He's not going to be like how McKenna is next year.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be he's first overall pick, obviously, but again, it's like that's someone that I don't think most people expected to be playing pretty well at this point in his career.
Right.
People were kind of looking at him being like, okay, little developmental for him, stuff like that. But yeah, I'd say him. I'm gonna go him, and maybe let's go. And maybe for the Western Conference, we can look at I don't even know. You know what I mean? It's like the guys that I want to say. It's just too obvious. You knew that you can't doubt them fully. Like I was gonna say the Penguins, but like those guys are good.
Yeah, exactly. All right, but let's move on here to the NBA, where we'll do some two quick things here, and then we'll get to the standings for the NBA. But John Morant, who was suspended a game by the Memphis Grizzlies, not by the league, just a team suspension. And since he came back, he hasn't really looked like he wants to be a part of the Memphis Grizzlies anymore. So that's something to keep an eye on in terms of potential trades and stuff like that. I could see him getting dealt before you know it, or maybe by the deadline, whatever. I don't think he'll be there with Memphis by the end of the season. I don't see it happening. I mean, it's really his fault. Just his actions, the way he acts all the time, doesn't help. He's doing it to himself. But yeah, we'll see. Other NBA news: Dylan Harper, someone I'm very high on. I've been saying it since the draft for the Spurs. He expected to miss a few weeks for the 5-1 Spurs, man. So the Spurs have been really good, and Harper's been a big part of that. And he's gonna, miss some weeks. So hopefully he gets back, pretty quickly. Let's do a standings breakdown here, and then I'll give my player who surprised me so far. I have a good one. I don't think I checked his stats and his numbers. I'm like, damn, I don't think he's gonna be this good, but we'll see. The standings we got here: Eastern Conference, 76ers at 5-1, leading the way. Bulls at 5-1 as well. Bucks at 5-2. Pistons at 5-2. Heat at 4-3. Knicks at 4-3. Cavs at 4-3. So the 7-1 seed, 7 to all the way to the 1 seed, only separated, like game and a half or so.
Yeah, and
close.
The Knicks and Cavs are losing games they shouldn't be right now.
Yeah, they should. I agree.
I'm following a little bit more now since we did our live stream. I've actually been watching.
There you go. Are you getting back into it?
Yeah, a little bit, but yeah, the Cavs have been losing some games they should, and the Knicks are the same way. Yeah, I will say, especially after the first game, I'd say those are the two most evenly matched teams in the Eastern Conference.
The East. I think with time they'll they'll work their way up.
If we see that as an Eastern Conference final somehow, that would be electric.
I agree, and I'll save my Knicks talk for later because I just want to talk about them, a little more in depth. But yeah, I think the Knicks and Cavs will be up there by the end. I just think these teams are starting out better, but both the Knicks and the Cavs are, dealing with injuries. 8 seed, we got the Raptors at 3-4, Hawks at 3-4 is a 9 seed, and the Magic at 3-4 is a 10 seed. And then looking outside of the playoffs right now, Hornets at 3-4, Celtics at 3-5, Pacers 1-6, Wizards 1-6, Nets are at 0-7. I'm thinking about going to the Knicks versus Nets game. That's 3 weeks from yesterday in Brooklyn, and me and my brother were talking about this. We're like, yeah, the Nets might not have a win by then.
Yeah,
just the way the schedule is breaking, and we're like, yeah, watch. We'll go to the game that the Nets don't have a win, and they'll win when we go. So, yeah. So we're gonna hope they win at least one before we get to, if we go to that game, which I think we probably will. That'll be fun. Yeah. Then for the Western Conference, we got the Thunder at 7-0. They've looked. I mean, I don't think they've missed a beat so far. Impressive. Spurs at 5-1. Lakers at 6-2. So the Lakers without LeBron, and now they got Luka back, but he was out for a little bit. They've looked great. Austin Reeves has been outstanding, averaging over 30 a game so far. Nuggets at 4-2, Rockets at 4-2, Timberwolves at 4-3, Trailblazers at 4-3. So they've been 4-1 since Thiago Splitter took over. Warriors at 4-3, Clippers at 3-3, Suns at 3-4, Jazz at 3-4, Grizzlies at 3-5, Kings at 2-5, Mavericks at 2-5, and the Pelicans at 0-6. So both teams have one winless team in their conference respectively. But I think that there's a mix of teams that are supposed to be there that are there, and then you got teams that should be a little bit better that will probably get there.
So we'll see what Pacers. What is going on?
Yeah, Pacers. No, I told you this, Biggie. They're missing Halliburton, who means a lot to the team. I don't think people realize that, and now they're seeing it. How much he means
firsthand. I mean, there it is.
Yeah, and I don't think it's going to get better for them. I really don't. I don't know if they're going to be this at the bottom, but I don't think it's going to get that much better for them, along the way. And then one player that surprised me so far is a little bit of a throwback name, Zach LaVine. So Zach LaVine is averaging 27 points per game. First time since 2020. Yeah, first time since 2020. So this is a guy that, he's been a good player the past few years, but 27, he hasn't averaged that much in over 5 years.
Yeah,
so
I was gonna
good
say,
for LaVine.
It's been a while. Wow.
And he's on a new team. I know we got traded over to the Kings last year, but now it's his first full year with the Kings, and he's playing good basketball, man. I mean, although they're 2-5 right now, they don't have a great record, but LaVine is doing it. He's playing really, really well. 7 games in, averaging 27 a game. See if he can keep that one up. I'm very, very impressed by that. I didn't think he was going to be that good, especially he's older in his career.
Since he has been.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been like Minnesota days for him. It's been a while, but good to see that. And let's go to the CFP rankings that just came out a little while ago. We can break those down here, and then we'll get into week 10 recap and a week 11 preview. But Biggie, you wanna let? Yeah, I was gonna let you go here. You
got it up right here.
Perfect. Okay, perfect.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Read through our top 12, because literally right now we don't care about anything else in the top 12 anymore. It's the top 12 that we need to worry about.
Yes. Okay. So Ohio State at number 1, which obviously we know that makes sense. I like how they're doing this now. By the way, it's a good.
I was gonna say, but you know this already. But make sure, because like right now Virginia is not in the top 12, but they would be in the playoff because they're the fourth champion, like conference champion. And I
Right.
was gonna say, make sure you have that one up because I just had the wrong one up. I just had the wrong one up. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, I probably do too because they're on here. I didn't even realize that. I just started going at it. All right. So let's see here. Sorry. Let me get the actual one up here because that's a projection of Virginia is probably going to win the ACC. That's a good. I think that's that's pretty feasible here. So let's here we go. First top 25 of the season. Let's get into it. So obviously Ohio State at number 1, which I think we all expected. Their defense is elite. As much as I say I don't think they're very good, I think their defense is the reason why. Indiana at number 2, which we know they're unreal. I think they, you know what, JD, I know it sounds crazy, but I truly think that there's a point where Indiana could, get ahead of them because I don't know what week it is exactly. What week is it that they play each other? It's not this week, right?
It's soon, I believe. I believe it's soon, right?
But that Indiana-Ohio State game is going to literally be the best game of the year. I'm excited.
Oh, they don't even play each other. They don't play each other.
Oh, they don't?
It would be the conference championship, which is going to happen, I believe.
Okay, so we can even see that. Like, you know what I mean? I think there's a point where, even regardless, Indiana might finish number 1. I just don't know. It's very possible. A&M at 3, which makes sense. They're pretty good. They've been playing well. Bama has turned it around. They're number 4. Georgia at number 5. Again, I just don't think Georgia has that same firepower they've had the last couple of years.
No, I don't think so.
But they're winning, so. Ole Miss at number 6. Obviously they've been playing really well as of late. Lane Kiffin's doing a good job there, even though he's probably not going to be their head coach next year. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
But, BYU at 7. Again, that's another undefeated team that's playing pretty well. Texas Tech at number 8, which, makes sense here. And then number 9 is Oregon, who I thought would be number 1 throughout the whole year after the Penn State game, but they really haven't proven too much. They lost the game, and this just haven't been the same. Notre Dame, they're 10 right now. They're going to somehow get their way in. I just know it. It's going to happen.
And then win the last month.
Yeah, so this is, again, just a projection from, obviously with Virginia and then Memphis in there as well. Those were projected. But number 11 is Texas, who has honestly shocked me. The last couple games have played pretty well. Oklahoma's fallen off a little bit, and they're number 12. So, and then Virginia is the projected ACC champion.
That's why they're the 11th seed.
And then Memphis is the projected
group of 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. For now,
it might not end up being them.
I don't think it will.
And that's funny because the group of 5, team that's going to make it is very, 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 around like Memphis, North Texas. You could even I would still even throw Navy in there. Even though North Texas beat them, I would still kind of put them in that category.
Right.
And I'm missing one. I'm South Florida even too. You know what I mean? They've fallen off. They're too inconsistent. But again, it's another team that could possibly do it. It's possible. The group of 5 one is actually really, really intriguing to me. And, and I love non-power 5 football, and I love all lower levels of football. So
no, I remember this from last year. The difference between this year and last year is they wanted last year to have the 4 different conferences to represent the first 4 buys.
Yeah, but look what happened with that.
And then they were like, "Oh, we can't do this because Boise State lost. All the higher seeds lost last year. So let's change it around a little bit," which I agree with. But yeah, we'll see. But the group of 5 team, which was last year Boise State, they were the 4 seed. This year they will be the 12 seed. I don't think anybody can argue that. They'll most likely be the 12 seed and probably lose the first round, depending on who they play. But yeah, I like what we're looking at right now for the CFP rankings. This is what we'll go to every week. We're not going to go and give the top 25 because it doesn't matter. It does not matter. We're hitting the final month of the season, so this is the big CFP time. We'll get into conference championships in a month from now. It's gonna be very, very fun. Yes. Let's go back to week 10. We'll do a little bit of a recap here. I'll take care of those games that are easier for me to talk about. and then Biggie will get into those, meat and potatoes like we like to call it. Ohio State and Indiana, they continue their dominance last week. Ohio State beat Penn State at home. Indiana beat Maryland on the road. They didn't really have to break a sweat in either of those games for the most part. Georgia and Ole Miss. So Georgia beat Florida on the road. That was a close game. They were losing, in the second half. And then Ole Miss, once again, they've been dominating so far. It's a really good win for Ole Miss. Georgia Tech, Vandy, and Miami all lose. So they were the 8, 9, and 10, ranked teams going into last week. They all lost. Close games for the most part, but they didn't win, so it doesn't matter. It kind of hurts their season a little bit. I think Oklahoma had a season-extending W against Tennessee. That was a big game, and they were able to come away with that one. And then, Biggie, any other games that you liked or you want to talk about here before we move to the Week 11 preview?
Yeah, so let's go into it a little bit more now. Let's see. Well, obviously we know Syracuse UNC. I'm going to rant about that later. Memphis making the case to get that group of 5 one. They beat Rice 38-14. Louisiana Tech dominates Sam Houston. I mean, Sam Houston's awful. They're probably going to go winless this year. They're 0-8, and they've pretty much gotten blown out by everyone for the most part. Let's see what other games. How about SMU upsetting Miami? Huge game in overtime. Boston College giving Notre Dame a lot of trouble.
Oh, I was getting so frustrated.
Lots of trouble. Virginia beating Cal by 10. Maybe a little closer than people thought. I don't know. Cincinnati absolutely blows out. I mean, gets blown out by Utah. Absolutely blown out. Absolutely crazy. Illinois beats Rutgers by a good amount. I kind of saw that coming. I just don't think Rutgers is at a competitive point. Duke barely hangs on to beat Clemson. Barely. I'm a little shocked by that. I thought Duke was going to go into Death Valley and beat them up. I mean, Duke, I'm really high on the Blue Devils this year. They're 5-3, and I think they're a good 5-3 football team. Baylor absolutely dominates UCF, which I didn't think would happen, but 30-3 was your final. UConn defeats UAB 38-19. UConn Huskies are 6-3 this year. Look great. Buffalo, this is actually kind of surprising because I talk about the Bulls a lot, and a lot of the games where they should win by a lot, they either lose or they only win by 3. They go down the Bowling Green and beat them 28-3, who has fallen off as of late. They lost to oh my God, they lost one they shouldn't have last week, and then they get blown out by Buffalo. Yes, they lost to Kent State last week, 24-21, and they get blown out by Buffalo this week. So Bowling Green has kind of fallen off a little bit. They were on a little bit of a trend, and now they've fallen off. I'm shocked by this one. East Carolina 45, Temple 14. I don't know what happened there. That game should have been a lot closer, and I even thought Temple would win. That one's a little shocking to me. Minnesota, Michigan State went to overtime 23-20. The Golden Gophers, the Goldie Gophers get that done.
The Goldie Gophers.
Yep. Delaware gets smoked by Liberty, man. I don't know how that happened. Oh my God. I'm seeing Delaware this week. We'll talk about that game.
Oh, this weekend?
This weekend, this Saturday. We'll get into that later because I'll talk about that. But yeah, Liberty goes to just kill Delaware. I don't know how. That's a game I don't think they should have lost at all, to be honest with you. Pitt and Stanford was a little bit closer than I thought. I kind of expected it, though. Pitt going out to the West Coast, stuff like that. Let's see, any other games I want to talk about. Arizona absolutely kills Colorado. I mean, Colorado, they're not at a point where they're competitive. They're 3-6, man. They're not good. They're not good. Florida State gets a much needed win. Over Wake Forest. They killed Wake Forest, who surprisingly is 5-3 this year. Did not expect that at all. But yeah, that's really it for me.
All right. Yeah, that wasn't really a big week either. We talked about that. It wasn't a huge week in terms of games. And we'll see. We'll see what happens here. But let's do Week 11, a little bit of a preview here for Week 11. The games that caught my eye was BYU and Texas Tech matching up early on Saturday. I think it's going to be a really good game. It's going to be I think it might be in Dallas Stadium as well. That's going to be a good game. So we'll see what happens with that. Texas A&M versus Mizzou should be a good game. Texas A&M is, they've answered every test they've had to answer this year. They've rung the bell, if you should say. They've done it, but we'll see. Mizzou is another test on the road this week for them, so we'll see exactly what happens for Texas A&M. But listen, they've answered it, like I said, and they've looked really good doing it. They have not, have really that many games where you look at them like, oh man, this doesn't look too good. But we'll see. We'll see what happens with them. Oregon, Iowa. Iowa can always be a tricky opponent because their defense is really good, and now they're in the rankings as well. So that's another thing to keep an eye out
A little more
for.
of an anticipated matchup than we may have thought a few weeks
Yeah,
ago.
yeah, definitely. And if Iowa had a really good, if Iowa they don't even need a really good offense. If they had an average offense, they would be a much better team than what they are. They can play defense with anybody. They really could. They think they're going to give Oregon a tough game. I really do think so. And Biggie, any other games we got here? I didn't really get a chance to look through the ones in the beginning of Saturday that much, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe some other ones.
Well, we got some
Of
football
course, the
games.
Tuesday night football. I forgot about that.
Yeah, there's MAC games on right now, which I love, by the way. We're going to put those on after the show. UMass and Akron. Akron just scored. It's 34-10. UMass, they're terrible. I would love to see them and Sam Houston play. I don't think they do, unfortunately. That would be a great game, to be honest with you. Love to see who would win that. I would take Sam Houston in that game. UMass is terrible. Akron also hasn't been great this year. They are 3-6 though, and they're killing UMass right now. UMass, that just goes to show how bad they are. Miami, Ohio, and Ohio. Miami, Ohio is up on Ohio right now, 6-3 in the third quarter. Miami, Ohio, and Ohio are both 5-3, but I think the Bobcats are easily one of the best teams in the MAC. Always are. And then tomorrow we have actually a pretty decent game. Kent State's 3-5 this year, JD. They're 3-5 this year. That's pretty impressive. The wins haven't been fantastic, and they've had some horrible losses. I mean, they lost to their first win in like 2 seasons was against Merrimack College, who just moved up to Division I think like in 2017.
I know, yeah.
Division II. And then they beat UMass by a lot, and then they I forget what game. No, it wasn't them. Someone else. I think it was UMass that lost to an FCS school like really bad. But yeah, so them and Ball State might actually be pretty decent because Ball State's not always that great, and they're 3-5 as well. Let's see. UTSA in South Florida. South Florida, I think, should win that game. This is Thursday. We have that game. Let's see. What else? Tulane and Memphis on Friday night. That's going to be a really good game. Look out for that one. This is actually going to be – I think it's going to be a pretty close game. It's a conference game for both squads. I think Tulane is underrated for sure. They're fantastic. We love Tulane on this show. Syracuse, Miami. Miami's going to put up 70, and we're going to put up 3. No need to talk about that game. Indiana is going to go 10-0. They're playing Penn State. SMU and BC. BC's 1-8, but I tell you what, they gave Notre Dame some trouble. They gave Louisville trouble.
Yeah,
they've had some games where they've got
played up to the competition.
They have. Their only win is Fordham, though. They haven't won. They haven't beaten a non-FB. They haven't beaten an FBS
team the whole year. Yeah.
They're not great, but they're competitive at times, and they have been as of late. The last 2 games, they've been really good.
Right, they have been, yeah.
Yeah. Colorado, West Virginia. West Virginia, actually, big win for them as of late. Big win over Houston on Saturday. An upset when they beat number 22 at the time ranked Houston. And Colorado, I think, isn't very good. I think West Virginia gets another win here. JMU and Marshall. Marshall's 4-4, a little disappointing. They did get beat by Coastal Carolina this past week, who also has been a little disappointing this season. And JMU is just rolling. JMU is really, really good. That's another team. If they can win,
JMU can do it. I was going to say that,
these
right?
other teams lose. That's one we didn't even mention. JMU.
Yeah, JMU. Yeah.
Right, I mean, and they moved up 2 years ago?
Yeah, they always have they've had a good team though since.
Oh my God, up. Yeah, always. Temple and Army. I think Army's going to win that game. Temple's been pretty bad. I mean, they're 5-4, but it's just been, that loss to ECU was embarrassing.
Yeah.
Let's see what else is going to be good. Bowling Green in Eastern Michigan. Bowling Green needs a win bad. This could be a good shot for them to get it. Rutgers and Maryland, I'm actually a little intrigued by. This is one of those matchups that I like. I think that Rutgers can possibly pull this out. It's going to be very close. This is one of the games. This is the game I am attending this Saturday, 3:00 kickoff. Louisiana Tech up at Delaware, and Delaware has been playing pretty bad as of late. Unfortunately, Louisiana Tech had a huge win this week. I think I think Louisiana Tech wins by 2 scores. It's just the unfortunate nature of it. Charlotte and East Carolina. East Carolina just blew out Temple. I think they blow out Charlotte. They're bad. Charlotte. Let's see. Duke and UConn. Look out for that game. People aren't going to think it's going to be good, but I think it will be. UConn was going to give them some problems, I think. I just hyped up Duke, but I think UConn's very competitive. They're a very good football team. Don't sleep on the Huskies. Stanford and UNC. I'm actually looking forward to that game as well. UNC finally gets their first ACC win again. We'll get into that later.
Hey, the last 2 weeks they've they've been playing better. So
They have.
I think they can beat Stanford as well.
I think they have a good shot to beat Stanford. It's at
Yeah.
UNC too, which I think helps a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Florida State and Clemson, that could be something. And this is a game that Florida State needs to get. They need this one bad. They need this win. So does Clemson. But I think Clemson's been far gone since the beginning. Florida State needs it more right now than Clemson does.
Mm-hmm.
If this was like week 5 or week 4, I'd say Clemson needs this more than Florida State does. But at this point, Florida State needs this way more than Clemson does. Florida State still has a shot to be competitive. Clemson's completely out of it. Let's see what else. Nebraska, UCLA. I like UCLA. I think they got killed by Indiana, but that's expected. That's a team that you're not going to beat. They're just too good. But Nebraska is a beatable team for UCLA. And I know it's crazy to say, but you see the way they played since the Penn State win. So, obviously you run to a juggernaut like Indiana, that's going to hurt you. But again, one that's pretty feasible there, I think, to get. And a great game. Oregon State, dude, they won. They beat Washington State last night.
I know, I couldn't believe it.
I troll them for beating Lafayette College, who Bloomsburg hockey, if you guys watch my stuff, we broadcast every Bloomsburg University ice hockey game. That's who Bloomsburg played Lafayette College.
Lafayette,
yeah. Obviously club hockey different from football, but yeah, that's a random small college in Easton, Pennsylvania. That's FCS going out to Oregon State in a random week 7 game.
Yeah, I remember that.
I told them forgetting it, and they won again. And you know what? They probably will win 3 in a row. They're playing Sam Houston, who's 0-8. So
there you go.
It'd kind of be funny if Sam
they're
Houston
going on a roll.
They are, and they're home again too. So I think that's going to help them.
That's great.
That's it.
All right, so another anticipated week, and now we're hitting that home stretch here. 4 games or 4 weeks left of the season, so a lot is going to happen. And the 4 weeks in the conference championship, so a lot is going to happen quickly for college football. But let's do our how you doing here. I'll keep mine quick, and then we'll do our pick 'em. I'll let Biggie go first here because I know you definitely want to talk about basically one team, but I want you to let them rip into them here once again. The floor is yours.
My God, I don't even know where to start.
I really don't know where to start. I wish I had a starting point, but first we're going to start with the fact that we lost to UNC and gave them their first ACC win of the season. We lose to Bill Belichick and his 20-year-old girlfriend. I don't know how we do that. Friday night at our freaking place. Are you kidding me? You lose to a team like that in the Dome. That's an embarrassment to your entire program, first off. Second off, we started are you ready for this? So
I'm ready.
You look at it all week. Someone else will be starting a quarterback. Oh, great. That means Luke Carney's finally going to get a shot. Friday afternoon. Oh, we're starting this kid from Long Island, JD. Starting a kid from Long Island. A little kid named Joe Filardi. 4-star. Great. Wrong sport. He's a 0-star football player, 4-star lacrosse player. And let me tell you, after what I saw, he should stick to lacrosse. Don't even step foot on that football field again. No, I'm being too hard on the kid. It was his first ever start. He's a true freshman, 4-star lacrosse player. But I just don't understand where that came from. And the thing that's really, really frustrating me is what in God's name are we doing with Luke Carney? I've mentioned him so many times on this show because he has the potential to be very good. And now, what do? Do you put Collins back in there? You better not, because how do you go from taking him out to starting your 4th-string 4-star lacrosse player, Joe Filardi? And what are you going to do? You lose the game to UNC. You don't even score an offensive touchdown, mind you. They scored a defensive touchdown. No offensive touchdowns the whole game. I'm trying to pull up the stat line for Filardi.
Oh, I remember I was reading it to you. That was halfway through the game.
Yeah.
Probably got worse.
This is how, you ready for this? This is how Filardi finished. So Joseph Filardi went 4 for 18, 39 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 1.9 QBR.
Oof.
Our leading receiver, are you ready for this? Our leading receiver was Darius Johnson. I don't even know who that is. 25 yards on 1 reception.
Oh, my.
Yasin Willis only had 61 yards. We had 108 rushing yards and 39 receiving yards this game. And Filardi fumbled twice, by the way, too. He had 2 fumbles. Oh my God. Why? It's just, why? Why did we start Filardi? What? And then Luke Carney goes in the game, and what are we doing? Why is he not throwing the football? Do you not trust this kid to throw a goddamn football? He threw for 10,000 passing yards in high school. He won 4 straight state titles in Texas. What are we doing? Like, genuinely, I just want to know, like, what the thought process is.
Yeah, really. No, I agree. I'm not even a fan. That would get me frustrated.
Luke Carney and keep losing games. We're going to lose to Boston College in the last week of the season. We're going 3-9. We haven't won since goddamn Clemson, since Steve Angeli went out. I just don't understand what we're doing. And then now, I guarantee you, watch, they're going to start Ricky Collins against Miami. I'm telling you right now, it's going to happen.
QB carousel.
I'm not even going to watch the game because I'm going to be in Delaware. Yes, I'm going to watch the Delaware Blue Hens over my beloved Syracuse because it is that bad right now. It is embarrassing. I get it. Your quarterback goes down, but you got to be better with managing the team. You got to be better. I get it. Friend Brown, this is only your year and a half into being a head coach, but you got to do something. You can't keep doing this. And if they go back to Collins, like that's another thing that I'm anticipating that I'm not going to be happy about because you already take him out. And what are we doing with Luke Carney? Why? Let him throw the goddamn football. Let him throw. Stop running QB draw. Don't put in Joe Filardi. Go let him go on the lacrosse field. Let him play lacrosse in the dome, not football. Please. No offense to the kid, but when you go 4 for 18 with 39 passing yards and your leading receiver has 25 and you have 39 passing yards the entire freaking game, and again, Luke Carney played. Carney had 10 rushing yards. 10 rushing yards. We still have 30. Filardi threw all the freaking rushing, threw all the passing yards. I'm losing my train of thought. Jesus. But like, what are we doing? Like, if you're going to have Luke Carney in the game, have him pass the freaking ball. Like, genuinely. Have him
I agree.
pass the freaking ball.
I feel you, man.
I don't know what we're doing rotating these guys around. Pick one. Because clearly, Ricky Collins didn't work. Filardi, get him off the freaking team at this point. But, like, make up your fucking mind. Sorry. But seriously, make up your mind. Seriously. Start one. Stop rotating guys around and let Luke Carney throw the goddamn football. Thank you.
Biggie won the battle. First F-bomb dropped on the show by Biggie. Oh man, that was great. I don't even know what to say. When someone completes 4 passes in the game, I mean
4 for 18.
He had the Zach Wilson stat line. Jeez. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what to say to that. But
and like I said, Collins is going to be out there against Miami, and they're
Oh yeah. All right. Oh, I don't even know what to say to you, man. Usually I have something that I could say to try to like ease it. Maybe I should just start talking about my teams now.
Because I love this team. You know that.
Yeah, I know you do. That's why you're getting passionate about it.
When it comes to sports, Syracuse football is my heart and soul. This is the team that I put all my energy into, them and the Flyers. I know it sounds crazy being an Eagles fan, but yes, I put all my energy into Syracuse football and the Philadelphia Flyers. I know. My life must suck, right?
Yeah. No. Oh man, I feel you, man. But you only got a few more weeks, and then you can think about it for a little bit.
And I can look forward to hopefully having Angeli back next year.
Yeah, hopefully. He was good, man. He was really good for you guys. But I'll take over here. The Jets I'm not going to talk about because I talked about them already. St. John's, I'm going to wait until later in the week because I'm going to do a St. John's like exclusive episode because I really want to talk about them in depth because I'm really, really excited about them. Like
you should. I mean, look at where they're at. Like this
exactly.
is they've been in, oh my God, how long probably, right?
Last year they made the tournament, but they lost in the first round. They were a high seed. They should have won. They should have won more games, but it was disappointing. But they retooled the roster a lot. So they got better transfers in there, more suitable for the system. So I'm excited for that. With the Knicks, they're 4-3 right now. The only thing I have to say is just be more consistent on the defensive end because they're scoring with literally anybody they want to score with right now, but their defense has not been good. They're 4-0 at home and 0-3 on the road. I think they have another 4 games in a row coming up at home, so got to take advantage of that. And whatever the road struggles are all about, got to fix those, got to be better. But yeah, I'm all right with the Knicks. I think just early 7 games in, I'm all right with them. Just be more consistent. Find the set rotation too. I feel like I know it's tough because there's injuries and all that stuff, so it's tough to have a certain rotation right now. But once they can figure that out, they'll be okay. Rangers, same thing. I just want them to be more consistent. The defense has been really good. I could say that defense is much improved. I was looking at the numbers earlier today. They're like second in the league in goals allowed per game. They have 2 shutouts, most in the league this year. They've been really good on defensive end, but they cannot score that well. I don't know why they can't score that well, but they can't, and they can't win on home ice. They're losing again. I think it's 2-0 right now at home, and they just can't score at home. They can't win on home ice, so they got to fix that a little bit. But yeah, and then the Mets, they just got to have a good offseason. Got to find a way to bring back Alonso and Diaz. I don't think Alonso's going to be back, but we'll see. And Diaz, he should be back. He just opted out because he wants more money. I think the Mets will pay him. I don't think the Mets are going to pay Alonso, but offseason starts on Thursday, so everything's coming out, quickly. But yeah, I wanted to keep it quick on my teams, nothing really, get in depth about. And then let's end the show here on the pick'em. So we both lost again last week, so we're on a little bit of a losing skid. I'm at 12-10. Biggie is at 9-13 after losing, like I said, yet again. This week we're gonna go with the Patriots and the Bucks. I think, like I said, I always want to keep our teams out of it, and of course, my team's not going to be in a good game anymore because they suck. And Eagles are playing on.
No.
Oh well, it's a game we'll pick. Game we'll pick. You're hyping them up too much this week. But let's do Patriots versus Bucks. Going to be a great game. Biggie, who do you got for this matchup?
This is one of the toughest pick'ems we've done in our time.
In a while. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I got us good on this
because I feel like this can go either way. We're either going to see the Patriots get exposed and Baker Mayfield go off, or we're going to be like, oh, wow.
Even more impressed.
Patriots are legit.
Yeah.
They are legit. I just think the experience is going to overtake this game. So I'm going to take Tampa Bay. As much as I want to take New England, I just think experience is going to overtake in this game. And I just think the Patriots are good, but they're not there yet. They'll be that team in a few years. If you play this game 2 or 3 years from now and you have the same exact rosters, for the most part, same quarterbacks, I would take the Patriots. But just right now, I think Baker Mayfield and that Bucs team's a little more experienced.
Yeah, I like that one. And I'm going to go with the Bucs as well for this basically the same reason you laid out. And also, yeah, I know the Patriots beat the Bills on the road if someone wanted to come at me with that point. But I think that the Bucs are just, they're one of those teams that present matchup problems all over the place. I'm not saying the Bills don't, but the Bucs definitely do. And I feel like the Patriots are bound to lose a game. They've been on a huge hot streak. They've won 6 in a row.
Yeah, I was going to say the streak's got to end at some point.
Yeah, it's got to end at some point, and it's not going to end next week on Thursday night against the Jets. So it's going to end this week, and then they'll bounce back next week. So I got the Bucs as well. I totally agree with you. But yeah, that's going to do it for episode 77. We covered a ton tonight. Thanks for everybody coming in and out, leaving comments. Me and Biggie appreciate that. We love the battle with the comment section every week. But yeah, go out YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, TJ Production, JD Empire Sportsbook. Like, comment, share, whatever you guys want to do. But for Biggie, I'm JD. See you guys.
See ya.